All right, so welcome back. It's Earl Loomis time. Let me run through the announcements really, really quick so we can get started with all of our fun stuff for today. Dice giveaway to a random person who follows the Twitch channel. We will pick them out either next week or the week after, just depending on when we wrap up this first arc. And the next announcement would be, we are about to finish our first arc of the story. We got our characters introduced. We're about to finish up the party games, which are a huge deal at Earl Loomis. And after we finish that, we're probably going to take a week or two break from the actual story. We might do some interviews and talk back streams, maybe a one-shot or a short little mini 2-episode fun thing just for, why not? And then we will pick back up on the story a few weeks after, taking up our characters after a little bit of time has passed. Other than that, I think we're sort of caught up on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. We're doing pretty good.
Cool. Other than the fact that all of us are apparently leaving the campaign, except for Kieran.
Yeah. I told you you should have gave us a contract, but you're like, nah, you guys, I trust you. So now we're all just leaving.
This is unpaid labor, and if you want to complain about it, take it up with the HR department.
We have an HR department?
Yeah, it's Nick right there.
Yeah, it's my trash can.
It's
all right.
incinerated. It keeps the house nice and warm.
Yeah. Fun stuff. All right, well, let's do a little recap of sort of what your characters have been up to recently in the story. So, from the beginning, we've come into Earl Loomis. Someone is typing very aggressively. We came to Earl Loomis. You guys got situated, this beautiful, luxurious adventuring academy. Those words are terrible adjectives for it because it's chaotic and everything seems to be just going wild. There are squirrels throwing nuts at people turning into animals, fighting each other. There are nerd bullies who try to steal people's homework. Nothing makes sense here. This place is completely upside down. Over the course of a few weeks, this party has banded together and shown that they have a great aptitude for their own skills, but not great at working together. These last set of challenges that you guys have been doing, otherwise known as the party games, which is to get first years really cohesive with their group and ready to go out and do adventures. You guys have been doing a couple challenges that really focus on teamwork and building trust with each other. Would you say that has been successful?
Marcel will definitely say it's been successful. We are very close. We're all best friends now. We're actually, he's inviting Rosarius, Lucian, Thera, Gwen, Kieran, and maybe Leo to all just sit around and hold hands.
So,
sing Kumbaya.
Marcel would say that. What would Juan say?
Oh, we're doing horrible. You're God, no. We're crappy. I think Gwen tried to shoot me.
Listen, as somebody who's been here for all of it, it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Lucian has been watching from the shadows this entire time.
Creeper.
Nice.
Marcel was okay with that. He was like, look at us.
But yeah, the group has not been doing stellar. I'd say you guys were doing okay. And then in the last session, to recap and pick up where we left off, we have a sort of training session that was put together by Rosaries and his paladin teacher, Professor Tarada. It was to help sort of coach you guys and get you ready for the party games, maybe work on some of those tactics of working together, how to strategize together, how to be cohesive as a team. You were coached by 2 upperclassmen. We had Sir John Luke, who was an upperclassman paladin that you guys met, a very ostentatious and interesting man. And then you also had Echo, who was a third-year fighter student. Very, very talented and proficient, but not great in the ways of coaching. Last that happened, you guys got your asses handed to you by these 2 upperclassmen. It was honestly closer than most people would have thought, but between Echo being able to summon this sort of like duplicate copy of herself magically, John Luke with those crazy powerful smites, and Lasilda, who was just out for blood with Leo, you guys ended up taking the beating there. Did I miss anything?
Oh yeah, Marcel and Lucian talked.
That's right. Lucian last session sort of made his comeback as he talked to Leo about, wanting to be a part of the group but not feeling comfortable with how things left off. Had a very heartfelt conversation with Leo and Marcel, in where Marcel apologized to Lucian for the things that caused him to leave. And then some bridges were made. I'm not going to say they're super sturdy, but they're there.
Oh, no.
Some other details that might have fallen through the cracks. Marcel's sword kind of started talking to him. Gwen shot Athera in the midst of combat, and there's some tension there, and we're not sure if it's because she wild-shaped or if it's just because she was shooting at random people. Kieran keeps randomly disappearing and not telling anybody where he's going, and his motive seems to be a little shady at best. Leo's in a love triangle. We love to see it. And Athera doesn't know what a tulip is.
Hey.
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 It sounds like the only person who's really doing at all relatively good is, I guess, Rosaris, weirdly enough. He's just kind of chilling.
I got my oath. I'm good.
He took his oath.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the oaths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcel was like crying like relentlessly.
That's right.
That was
Another
I was so proud of Leo.
small detail is Rosaris took his oath last session. Marcel definitely cried. It was a little bit of a proud moment for him stepping up as the paladin and making his intentions with his power known. And then to throw a really big wrench in things, Lysilda took an almost identical oath, despite the fact that they have established they are from very opposing ideologies.
I told him he should have done like a copyright thing. Like he should take her to court.
Sure, I'll do that.
Anyway, let's go ahead. Do you guys have anything else before we jump in for the session tonight?
This has been a very fun experience so far.
Real.
Is this
Absolutely.
your goodbye speech?
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
April Fools, it's been terrible.
Oh boy.
I'm getting some
No.
doubled audio in here. Let me fix that. All right, well, if we don't have anything else, I'd say let's go ahead and pick up with the following day. So, to let you guys know, the training session sort of happened on the Wednesday of this week, where the rest of the first year parties are doing their final trials and challenges. The next weekend will be the finale to party games, which, as you guys know at this point, is the top of the parties of the first year spar against each other for that sort of position as the best party, and they maybe get some leeway or some early access to going out on adventures or special privileges, or maybe they just get passing grades in some of their classes. Either way, it is a very sought after thing that a lot of the first years are sort of beginning to get excited about now that these challenges are wrapping up. As you guys get into this weekend where you really don't have anything to do, you finished all 3 of your challenges, you've done a little extra training on the side, you have a week of downtime, I'm going to say let's pick up on the following morning, that Friday, or Magum, where we have a couple of different things happening. First, I want to start with Athera. As an elf, you do not have to sleep, you trance. With that extra 4 hours that you get over a lot of your half-elf, human, and other race counterparts, what have you been doing in some of your free time?
I've been really trying to take in as much of the spell book that the professor gave me as I can. Recently received a druid focus from Professor Baron, didn't understand what that was. So she's just been kind of like reading the book a lot, and then during those trance sessions just kind of trying to mentally like remember different components and think about the spells themselves and trying to understand how it all works and experimenting and yep.
I feel like I just pulled a David and accidentally muted myself. I tried to unmute and it didn't work.
Whatever.
So, to sort of clear some of the air about this, now that you have this spellcasting focus, a lot of these spells are coming so much more naturally, specifically because mechanically, a spellcasting focus replaces the need for material components. So it's like you don't have to sit here and memorize every single detail that goes into a spell. It's more like I remember a word and maybe a movement, and then this does most of the rest for me. As you're sitting there reading through it, probably, flipping this little flower-shaped totem through your hands, you're going through some of the spells that Baron said that you'd be able to master at this point if you practice them. And as you're practicing a few of them, you start to get this weird sense, almost like a sixth sense that's pulling you outside of the school. You feel this tug pointing out in the direction of the forest where you've spent a little bit of time practicing your wild shape. And at this point, I think it's safe to say that it's probably 5 or 6 in the morning. You're just spending some of this extra time early in the day practicing magic. But you feel that tug, and you're not sure what it is. You've been going through some of these spells, getting these random effects, producing tiny little bits of fire. You're very accustomed to making plants grow. You've been practicing this Pass Without Trace spell of making yourself almost walk silently. But this is the first time that this sort of pull has happened. So you're sitting there, maybe in the lounge to Carnegie Hall, and you just can't help but to turn your head and look out of the window out to the western end of campus. What do you want to do with that?
She kind of like sits there for a little bit and is looking out and trying to make sense, like, within herself, what that tugging is. Does it feel malicious? Does it feel like she's curious? And ultimately just very curious what it means, and I'm gonna get up and like see if it changes. Like, if I walk one direction, does it pull stronger another direction, or like essentially try to follow it.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe the feeling that this gives you is almost a sense of home, if that makes sense. It feels very familiar, despite the fact that you're not super accustomed to magic in general. This pull gives you the feeling of every time you move closer to it, you feel a little bit more back where you feel comfortable, back where you're familiar. It just feels a lot like home. And as you move around, sort of testing it out, it's not that it pulls stronger if you move in any specific direction, but you can tell the direction that it's trying to pull you, and it's just like that very faint, there's a thread tied around you, and you can feel it giving a little bit of resistance every time you move.
Yeah, just the combination of like natural curiosity and then also that feeling of home. There's like a longing inside her that it's just too much. Like, she's not going to ignore that, and she's going to try and follow that wherever it leads.
Absolutely. Following that magical tug that you're sort of feeling, you walk out of Carnegie Hall, you walk south and exit out the gate to Rorsch Plaza on campus, and then you feel it sort of turn away from Rorsch Plaza and go into the woods. You follow that for a little bit, walking for 2, 3, 4 minutes, continuing on. This cold morning air kind of tingling your skin. You pull your overcoat around you just a little bit tighter. And as you're walking, you begin to notice that you're kind of far away from campus. After walking for about 10 minutes or so, you think that you're at least half a mile away, which is very unfamiliar territory to you. But still, this feeling just continuously feels like, no, it's fine. I'm safe here. Do you want to continue on with that, or are you feeling a little scared to venture away from campus?
No, without hesitation, she's continuing on.
You keep walking for another 5, 7, 10 minutes until eventually you get out to a small hill out in the forest. These tiny little cliff faces sort of making your traversal more difficult. There's a couple of paths that you cross. It looks like people have walked out through the forest, but you get atop one of these hills and you look out and scan in the direction that you're feeling this come from. And eventually you stop and you see a small pack of wolves out maybe 200 feet from you. As they're slowly moving, there seems to be 2 adult figures and then 3 little pups that you see. They're all moving, going together. It seems like maybe the mom is urging them on, and then the biggest of them stop as the other 4 move forward and looks around, sniffs the air a little bit, and then turns and looks directly at you and just stops and stares.
I'm gonna stop where I am. I'm not advancing towards them. And I'll sit down and kind of like cross-legged and try to make like observing them, but trying to also show, hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. And I'm assuming like, is that what appears to be the source of that tugging? Is it like it was them?
Oh yeah, for sure. You sort of sit down cross-legged, watching out from atop this little hill crest. And as you sit there, again, the other 4 slightly smaller wolves move off to the side, and then this one that makes eye contact with you takes about 3 or 4 steps towards you very slowly, watching your gaze, slowly lowering its head. And then before you can even react, darts back off to go with its family. And then you feel the effect of the spell sort of fade as you have found what was pulling you.
I'm gonna sit there for a while and kind of just like contemplate on that. For the first couple minutes, just like enjoying the peace and quiet in that area and enjoying the sight of the wolves and all of that. And then I think testing out this, because I have a sense like, okay, this was a spell, this is something going on, and so testing out like if I try to like locate something else, can it like tell me where something else is? Like testing the boundaries of that.
Yeah, what do you try to locate?
She's going to picture something that looks like that sunflower that Marcel drew, but she's never actually seen a real sunflower. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the range on this spell? Do you know off the top of your head? Can you pull it up?
I can. Let's see. Within 5 miles.
I think as you begin to sort of hold your focus and cast the spell off of remembering the book that you were just reading earlier, you cast it and you feel very faint, so it's definitely on like sort of the edge of your peripherals here, but very faintly off sort of northwest from you. You do get that same magical tug. You can feel the direction, you feel that it's a couple miles away, but it's there.
Cool. Then she's gonna be like, realizing that she maybe doesn't actually know how to get back because she went further than she's used to going and didn't bother to track it at all. So she's going to picture a specific flower, the same type that she gave to Gwen a couple sessions ago. She has one in her room as well, so she's going to imagine that one and use the location to like lead herself back to campus. Absolutely.
You navigate yourself back to campus. It takes you about 20-25 minutes to fully get back to your room. You go back in as it's still the early hours of the morning. Your legs a little wet from the dew on the ground, and you sort of run your hand along this little freesia flower that you had given to Gwen. And any thoughts running through Aethera's mind as she looks at it after the previous day had happened?
She thinks to herself, it's still alive. I guess, well, maybe it wasn't what I thought it was back then. I guess I should just let it go. And she kind of like touches one of the petals, and then she'll go to sleep.
Well, I certainly hope not, considering you don't sleep. But
Well, she'll go to trance.
you go back into trance, getting a little bit extra rest before the day begins.
She just wants to sleep one of these days.
She just wants to sleep. I love it.
Me too.
All right. Well, the wee hours of the morning are all burned away as the rest of you wake up in your own time. Again, a lot has sort of happened in the past week. You guys had just finished up all of your classes for the week. Friday would be the day that you guys get your challenge, but you don't have one. You've already completed all 3, so you guys kind of have the day to burn. You don't have classes. You don't have any obligations. A couple of the upperclassmen get sent out on missions from campus, so how are we burning through the day? The weekend, honestly.
Marcel will try to make like a team building exercise. Okay, guys, come on, let's all get together.
Yeah, Marcel, you gather everybody up for lunch. You are able to sort of find everybody and be like, hey, we're having lunch together as a party. This is the thing. I'm assuming all of you oblige. You assume that Marcel has these great wise plans, as he's known to be. How do you go about this? You get everybody sort of gathered up here. A lot of the other people are sort of busy prepping for challenges and stuff, but your party, again, doesn't really have many things to worry about right now.
So honestly, I think after that fight with the upperclassmen, we did pretty good. I mean, we didn't win them, but we kind of challenged them quite a bit. But honestly, I'm not sure who will be our competition. So we should still be extra careful. But now we're gonna have a full group instead of just, me and Rosarius and Leo and Kieran and Aethera. Gwen will no longer just be shooting at us. Right, Gwen? Right?
Yeah. Even though you think that we lost, in my mind, I think I won.
That's the spirit. I think. Yes. So, now, Leo,
Yes.
how do you think we should better ourselves to defeat this group of unknown abilities for our next challenge that's in a while?
I honestly have no idea.
Lucian, you haven't seen us for quite a bit. Do you have any recommendations on us to prepare for the unknown?
I mean, didn't we get our asses kicked at the last thing? I heard that you guys lost. Maybe we could practice some of that.
Well, we didn't have you. You were the
maybe we
missing
should.
piece.
Maybe we should go find trouble.
Welcome back, by the way.
Oh, and also Lucian back. And I
Nice.
thank Leo for that. Thank you, Leo.
I didn't do anything. Lucian came
Yeah,
back on his own.
Lucian rolls his eyes.
Yeah, thank Lucian. Thank you, Lucian. Yeah, that was a rough fight, honestly, for me. But if we work together, I think we can do it. Because I think there was kind of some good strategy we were doing. With my darkness, I was able to really hold back John Luke's many abilities.
Yeah, and you blinded me.
Well, you can lead the darkness all you want. I'm not going to hate you.
Can you see in the darkness?
Can't you?
I couldn't see in your darkness.
Oh. Maybe you're not a true elf. It's
Tears rolls her eyes. I feel
Coming
like-
out of the half elf.
Marcel. Maybe it would benefit us to like understand each other better.
Right. My powers.
Well,
You want to understand how I can do the power thing? Okay, I'll tell you right now. As he overshadows the dearest conversation. Okay. This is the secret to how I'm able to see in the darkness. Wow, it's dark in here. Boop. And I'm able to see. There we go, the end. That was pretty interesting, right?
so you open your eyes.
Yes. But
You know,
that is
for some people, that's a real challenge.
to open eyes? I guess. Some people, I guess, be
I
hard
wish
to
I
open
could
their
see in
eyes.
the dark.
You can't
Yeah.
see in the dark.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wait, do you really wish that?
Be nice.
Lucian's gonna walk up to you and just take 2 fingers and poke you in the forehead, and he's gonna mumble something under his breath, and your eyes are going to like shift into like black beads, and you can spontaneously see in the world in a different color of light as he casts dark vision on you.
I will
didn't
say
mean right now,
it is
but thank you.
it is
It's the middle of-
definitely the middle of the day. So
Okay.
your vision doesn't look
Uh-huh.
any different, but you feel a little bit of a magical tingle as you think you
I
can see in the
think
dark.
something happened.
Yeah,
I'll
is
just
there
take
like
the
a
word for
is
it.
there a light source that Marcel can shoot with his Eldritch Blast?
Just cover her
Uh,
eyes.
I mean, yeah, there are a bunch of like almost what's the word for like the candle things that hang from the ceiling?
Oh, chandelier.
A chandelier. Yeah, there's like a couple chandeliers that keep the hall lit in the cafeteria.
Lucian just
Cool.
starts spam casting prestidigitation
Oh.
until it's dark
Oh.
enough that it.
You blow out all the
Lowers your
candles, and there's still like a little bit of natural light flooding in from like the big windows and stuff. But it's you hear like a couple other like upperclassmen and stuff just go, "Oh, thank God!" and they like lay their head on the desk and desk table, and sort of just like
yes.
rest.
I remember when we go to eat food, we have our own desk to eat our food. Looks to the big window.
I think
Lucian,
I'm
can you
just gonna
cast
do what
presentation on that?
Athera said, and cover my eyes. And she covers her eyes with like her palms, and she's like, "Oh yeah, look, I can see my palms. Thank you."
That lasts a very long time, by the way, so enjoy.
How long does it last?
8 hours.
Oh,
It may be dark by then.
can you only cast it on one person or multiple people?
One person.
Lucian, you would probably be the first to pick it up, but the candles do get relit, and you would probably assume that they're magically relit. Like it's not like they were on a timer and then came back up. It seems like someone cast some sort of spell that sort of lit them back all at once.
But that'll
Gotcha.
be used for Kieran because you can't see in the dark. So having 8 hours of dark vision would be very helpful.
I have
Mine
natural
now.
ra-
Sorry, that's it for the day.
Oh,
Probably gets up to enough trouble at night without dark vision to help him. Anyways, Karen,
I mean, we could
What
come
do
to an
you get up
agreement.
to?
I could help you out. Oh, what do
You're
I get
always-
up to?
yeah, you're like always leaving and stuff. I mean, I get it. I also like alone time, but you're not around with us a lot.
Well, I like to be as effective as possible. And nobody else is worrying about school and stuff. I'm cooking with the most secretive ingredients.
love?
Can you say that in common language?
It's
Not-
called a crime, darling.
Oh.
Oh. Marcel said that's not love.
And poetry. But that could be a crime if you don't like poetry.
Lucian, do you like poetry?
I do.
Oh, see? Okay, that's not
What
crime.
would you know of that, though?
Me or Kieran know about what?
You.
Me? I know
yes,
that poetry. Let me speak. Marcel starts whimpering, but then, poetry. I always like poetry.
I think that you should give us some.
Oh, sure thing.
I would love a
Good
poetry
lord.
contest between us. Let's do this. Marcel, you're very, very charismatic, I'm told. Let's see your poetry. Stand up right
Uh,
now.
On the fly,
Oh.
come on, let's go. Surely you know a lot about it.
Oh, yeah, sure thing. Let's see here. Roses are red. Violets are not blue. So why do they call it violet? Maybe it's not true.
Admirable. Definitely admirable.
Thank you.
You make the bards very, very uncomfortable with that one.
Lucian turns around the little scroll that's always being written with his little quill, and he makes a little copy of it and rips it off and gives it to Marcel, word for word, the poem he just created. You can hang this on your fridge.
What's a fridge?
You have a
Right,
fridge?
exactly. It's a place you put the beer when it's cold.
Oh,
They have one in the
Slowly.
cafeteria, I think.
they have beer in the cafeteria?
I don't know. I don't drink beer.
Hey, is there beer in the cafeteria? Marcel starts yelling at all the sleeping upperclassmen.
You start yelling, and immediately, like a third year just yells from across the hall, "Shut up!
Is that a yes or a no?
It's a shut up!"
I think that's a yes. Thank you.
If you want, we could sneak some beer into the fridge in the cafeteria, and you fix the entire issue, become folk here, the entire estate, and be happy.
Oh. But I guess I have to make some beer, huh?
I thought you were doing.
It costs money to make the ingredients.
Ooh, that's
But
a good
I think I
idea.
could
What are you
magically
spending your
create.
money on?
I'm saving my money.
Maybe we can go out into the woods, find some trouble to practice our abilities, and get the ingredients for some alcohol. There's berries and stuff. We could make wine.
Or if we find apples, we could make ourselves some delicious brandy. So, who wants to go out for a fun little venture?
To
Do you guys know where a general store is? I could go acquire some hops and stuff for us. I wouldn't have to worry about any money or anything.
Wait, when you say acquire, what do you mean?
They will find a guy who everyone hates, steal a whole bunch of his grain, we make a whole bunch of alcohol and sell it back to him. He loses twice as much, we win twice as much. Win-win.
I don't think I wanted to know that.
Very Robin Hood of you.
Who's Robin Hood?
It's a great book. It kind of reminds me of the book I'm reading now. It's called Phineas and Herb. They do adventures every summer.
Phineas and Herb.
104 days.
Oh, I love that.
As you guys are sitting there talking, a couple of people do walk up to the table after noticing that you guys are here, specifically up to Kieran. Your good friends Drake and Henry that you remember from earlier on in the school year, they sort of walk up to you, and Drake, kind of leading the conversation as they approach, just goes, "Oh, speaking of trouble, there he is. Hey, Jacob, this is your party, right?"
Jacob?
Yeah, this is my lovely party here. I kind of like wink to everyone when he says Jacob. This is my group here. We are a very nice skilled group of individuals.
Yeah, looks like it. Hey, nice to meet you guys. I'm Drake. I'm one of Jacob's, I guess, mentors, you could say, an upperclassman friend of sorts. Hey, I was hoping to ask you a question. I know you were offering your services as usual, and well, I'm about to be sent off on a mission this weekend, and I thought, if you wanted to offer those services, to me, I could offer it to other places.
My services are always up for the right fee.
Great.
What sort of things need to occur?
Well, I was going to leave that up to you. I was just thinking, I've had great experiences with it. I get a cut, you get a cut.
Marcel turns to Lucian. I
Sounds
think he
wonderful.
offers back rubs to people.
Yes, the most outstanding crops. They're very slight egos.
Well, hey, listen. And he drops 2 gold in your hand and he says, catch me before I leave. I'm going to be probably in my room after this, getting ready and just packing some things up. Swing by, either drop that gold back off or drop your, and he looks over to the rest of the group and goes, services off.
Maybe that's
Of
why
course.
he's so good with
I'll
his
make
hands.
sure
Well, hey, it was
I'll make sure they're all packaged enough.
yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead
You're
and head
talking
out.
about drugs.
I gotta get ready with my group, so it was great to meet you
If any of
guys.
you guys need arrows, I make some.
I do not, but I might hit you up for a party member, send someone your way. What was your name?
Gwen.
Gwen. I might remember that.
You better.
He could remember it, Gwen, or he could forget. We don't know.
It's a pretty easy name.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Bye, guys.
My name's Marcel. Marcel, don't forget Marcel.
Great. And he heads out.
What was
with
his
Henry.
name?
Drake.
And Josh.
I was just about to say that.
Thank you, Leo. I'm glad.
We're on the same page.
We are best friends. Like Marcel and Leo just hugged it out.
Right, so we could do the shady task that was just given to you, or we could do something else. So what are we going to do this week?
Or I'll do that by myself. He doesn't need to be included in that.
You sure you don't need any help?
I
No,
can
no,
help. I can be very quiet.
Oh, you should
It's
definitely
definitely like
take
that.
Marcel with you. If it involves stealth, I can absolutely. He would be so helpful.
Watch, I'll turn invisible. He lowers his head, tries to go underneath the table. See, you can't see me now.
Great job, Marcel.
Thank you. Yeah,
Mm.
I worked hard on this. It took me a month to get this stealth move going.
Who are you guys
I
talking
call
to?
it
I don't
hiding
see
under a
anybody over
table.
there.
I'm not talking to anyone.
Slowly, Marcel tries to pop his head back up, like see if anyone notices him, and slowly back down. I don't think they can see me anymore, Leo.
Dan, I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. Yes, no one can see you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So what are we doing?
We could go
I
find
need to
trouble in the
find out
forest.
a bit of-
Now let's
that?
go get these berries. Let's make some alcohol. Let's find some trouble. Let's get better.
Yeah.
We all kind of suck
Yes.
together. I
That
mean.
Rosaries.
Yes, let's all suck
team
together,
effort.
guys.
It's a team effort.
Team sucking, that's for sure.
Team suck.
You can't
I
suck
changed
with
my
one.
mind. I'm out.
Yes,
well.
Kieran, did you need something?
I had some questions for you about a party that we're both interested in, and I was wondering if you could get me some information that you know about it, so we both can feel a little more comfortable in our seats.
What'd you have in mind?
Looks at Marcel's
The
seat.
church, the big scary church. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I mean, if it's the Church of Paran, that's one of them.
Do you know much about the Breeze Hands too?
I know very little about the Breeze Hands. I know a fair amount about the Church of Paran.
I'm trying to find some information about all these people. and I could use a big, strong man with a big, fancy shield to come with me.
To where? You're trying to do research at the library?
Trying to do research with a bunch of Dane individuals.
You're trying to get into a church.
No. Figure out about them. Yes.
Okay.
I could
Um,
use backup per se.
I'll go with you. I don't particularly understand the plan, but sure. I didn't have much to do anyways. I will say I was planning on watching some of the other first year and their final party games just to get a little bit of a scope out on the other parties, but after that I'm free.
Sounds good. And Gwen, you have a sharp eye, don't you?
I hope so.
Do you
You get
mind
that looked at.
being my sis?
I don't really know how I feel about robbing a store.
No, you missed the other conversation. I am getting information about someone that is interested in me, and I need someone to make sure I don't get shot at.
All right.
I don't know if Gwen's the correct person for not getting shot at, based on
Yeah.
yesterday's experience.
Oh, also thank you,
Hey.
Rosaris, for saving me from that arrow.
I did my best. It was a good shot.
I was just
will
helping
say
you
that.
guys
It
out.
was a good shot. It was.
It was a good shot. It was pretty good.
I mean, you saved my ass from Athera, so I can thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I mean,
And glare at Athera.
hey, if you had, I mean, I'm just sorry that you needed her to save your ass for you.
I'm sorry, you were on my party, and then you were not my party, so I did not know that you're going to attack me in that instance.
You gotta be ready for anything.
That is also
I'm
true.
sorry, I was trying to defend Mr. Ladies Man over here from his giant mistress.
I mean, Athera has a pretty good point. I know how strong people in wild shape can be.
And she
Leo.
rarely agrees with me,
Yes.
so
What?
Can you calm down your
We-
animal magnetism? Too many women are falling in love with you.
Honestly, I don't know what's
Speaking
happening.
speaking of women falling in love with Leo, a very gentle, soft voice sort of like calls out from about 15, 20 feet away as you guys are having this conversation. She just goes, "Hey, Leo, hello."
Duty calls, everyone. I will,
She
I'll see
walks
you
up
later.
to the table and
Oh.
sort of like kind of shyly joins you guys. But Hildegard approaches, the half orc with sort of shoulder length black hair, very fair skin, and she just goes, "Hey guys, I didn't want to interrupt, but I did just want to say, hey Leo, I'm leaving this weekend. Me and my party are going on just like a quick mission up to Ilium. So if you wanted to grab lunch again, I'm free Monday."
Sure, definitely, yeah. I will. Yeah, Monday
Great.
sounds good.
Cool. All right. Hey, good to see all of you. Hi. Hey, Athera.
Hey.
hi, Hildegard.
Hey, bestie.
Hello.
Hi, Marcel. Did you guys get another person?
Ah, yes,
Uh,
Lucian. Lucian, this is Hildegard. Hildegard Lucian.
Great to meet you. Hi.
Pleasure. Hi.
Great. Well, I'm gonna
Is
head
this
out.
one of your girlfriends I need to be aware of?
I
One
don't
of,
have
huh?
one- Okay, hold on. Hold, please.
I think I'm running out of fingers to count with.
This is not. None of that is true. I just
Right?
want
Isn't
to
there a
make
couple of
this
them?
clear. No, don't.
Maybe a baker's dozen, Lucian.
Don't listen to them.
Hildegard just goes, "Okay, bye."
please.
And she sort of like gently sets a hand on your shoulder and then heads out and waves to everybody else as she leaves.
I literally hate
Can
both
I
of you.
tap
I'm the best wingman you'll
Leo
ever
on the
have, buddy.
shoulder?
I hate you so much right now.
You open yourself, man.
Well,
Leo, you need
Yes.
something here. I hand him a piece of paper. with a little a nice little stamp on it. This is a poem that I may not have written about her that you can give it to her sometime.
Okay. I will, this is interesting. I will look over this and decide whether or not I'm going to give it to her.
Just write your own
You
poem.
should let
Thank you for
It'd be
that.
you
more
should let
heartfelt.
Marcel double check that.
No,
Lucy, I
I
heard
love you,
about this.
Marcel.
It's called a hand-me-down poem.
A
Very
hand-
popular.
very- So,
Happy damn poem.
I just feel weird giving her a poem that I didn't write, if that makes any sense.
No, I understand. A poem should come from your own heart.
Right, yes, exactly.
Or you could say it's from
It was
your
not
own
my
heart.
heart, sadly.
Yes, it was his crotch.
This has all been wonderful, guys. I really appreciate everything, but I think I got it from here.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know you guys don't have tails, but do go get some, okay?
What?
Looks at Gwen.
Oh my.
You have
I'm gonna
to
lean
Gwen?
over. I'm gonna whisper in Leo's ear, like, "Listen, if you need any more help, I can teach you how to charm them magically."
Lucian, please, I love you, but please don't help me again. Honestly.
I'm offended, but fine.
All right, so what are we doing now? Let's get off the topic of me, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're all
I mean, you.
done with that, I had a more productive question for Rosaris.
I don't like where this is going after the previous conversation.
Oh, don't worry, I wouldn't dream of it.
Oh,
Oh,
Ben.
now I'm intrigued.
Rosaris, I was just curious about your oath. I don't know much about paladins, so it was interesting yesterday to see you take that, and I was just curious if you could explain like what that even is. What's the purpose of your oath?
Well, put simply, again, Torada talked about the oaths are the values that paladins swear to uphold, and somewhere out there, some greater magical being agrees with those ideals. The oath I took was the Oath of the Watcher. I guard this realm, this world. I look out for potential dangers that come from good or evil sources that are beyond mankind's normal power level.
But who watches the Watcher?
Athera's gonna
another
like
Watcher.
kind of like roll her eyes. If I remember correctly, Lasilda sounded really similar to yours. Did you guys take a similar oath? Did you copy her?
One, I took my oath first, so if anything, she copied me. Two, it was the same oath, but each oath is unique to the individual. So, in that sense, we do not have to uphold all of the same things. There are the core things that we chose to uphold. She added what I believe to be, and I look at Leo as I say this next part, tenets found within the Church of Corteus,
That
which
is correct.
does somewhat confuse me given the oath's purpose. To watch out. The way I have understood the oath is largely to watch over the influence of the gods and the evil counterparts on this world. So for a member of a church to take that oath is interesting. Albeit, if I remember right, and Leo can correct me, the Church of Corteus became a god shortly after he defeated Varameth. So in that sense, I guess the church could be seen as watching over the realm of the evil, whereas I would see it as watching over both evil and good.
I would go with that.
Not knowing that I, as Athera, know hardly anything of what he's talking about, I want to see if I can tell if there's like angst in that conversation, or if it's just pure like he's listing off fact and it doesn't mean anything.
We could do insight versus either deception or persuasion. Don't tell us which one, and then just tell us if you beat her or not.
Can I
To
also
just the
insight
numbers.
angst?
Yeah, sure. I mean, anyone can insight if they want to in this. If they care enough.
I have to figure out if it was angst or not.
Insight
Like, what
angst.
just-
I love
just-
that.
Wait, if you're still deciding what you're rolling, I get to re-roll.
I have the same multiplier, so the roll is going to be the same. What'd you get?
I got a 7.
As
I got
far
10.
as far as either of you know,
Nice.
I don't know
Nice.
anything.
As far as either of you know, Zach is dead.
I am tired of stupid Wi-Fi. As far as either of you know, Rosaris is a very learned individual, and that's the way he was intentionally trying to convey what he knows about the oaths. I will let you know there is some hint of something else, but you don't know if it's angst, confusion, anger. There's some other emotion beyond stating facts, but you can't tell what it is.
I'm going to look over at Leo and similar thing, be like, is he reacting to the words that Rosaris is saying?
First thing, no roll needed. David, is Leo having any sort of reaction to this outside of just kind of chilling at the table? Like, does he have any sort of visual reactions or anything that would be super easy to read? Is he trying to hide anything? What's up?
No, not really. I know Rosaris and Leo have already talked about this, and Leo knows that Rosaris doesn't like his church. So I think at this point, like, nothing would really affect him as of what Rosaris would say.
Yeah, and with
unless
that,
he's like downing the church.
yeah, I think with that, you guys, no roll needed, could pick up that Leo obviously is at odds with Rosaris in this regard. Of one is in the church, one is kind of against it, but it seems like something they've worked past. So Leo doesn't seem to have any sort of like angry or upset reaction from that.
If it also helps, I don't think Leo would disagree with anything Rosaris just said. Again, Rosaris was stating like very matter-of-fact aspects of the church.
And yeah, to clarify, I think for everyone but Rosaris and Leo, most of these names are just going right over your heads.
Sure.
Marcel will pretend that he knows. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Verimeth, I know exactly who that is. I met him in college.
Lucian's writing it all down, even though he doesn't understand it in this moment.
Lucian might know. If you want to make a sort of check about it, I'm absolutely fine with that. It's not hidden
Religion?
knowledge. Yeah, make me a religion check. It's super low DC. I'd say like 6 or 7. 12. Yeah, you've heard of it. You sort of know the story. It's almost exactly like Rosaris just put it bullet point wise. Corteus defeated Verimeth. Verimeth, in the text that you've read, he was an archdevil, whatever that may mean. Corteus became a god, and now Stonewall has a church dedicated to him. That's the story.
Aethir's gonna say back to then Rosaris. So, do you get any like benefits or extra strength or anything with this? Is it just a bunch of words? Like, what does it mean?
Again, somewhere out in the world, again, there's a very powerful magical being that agrees with the oath that I've taken, and there are some benefits that I can demand power when I need it, and each oath tends to have its own thing. And then I'm gonna use my channeling divinity, and it doesn't really do much. It'll just give me, Aethira, and I'll just say Leo, advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. So you'll kind of see like a wave of blue magical energy come out from my shield and then highlight you two and myself.
Yeah, and I'd
And
say
it'll just-
feeling wise, you guys feel this sense of like mental fortitude as it's almost like a gate just shut around your mind, and you feel like you are very resistant to the effects of spells and magic, with both of you are very, common to as spellcasters.
There's just
Curious,
kinda-
Rosaries. Do you actually demand this power from an entity? Is that the proper word?
I wouldn't say I demand it from that entity. I demand the magic to happen and someone responds.
I see.
I know you, as a wizard, you would say, you have to study it, and I respect that. But I research other things, and I don't have time to study magic, so I have to demand it.
I was just very curious because demanding things from an entity that has that kind of power seems risky, and I wanted to be aware of that. That's all.
It's not that I'm demanding it from them on a level of like I'm threatening them. It's they agree with my oath. They agree with my purpose. So I'm helping them whenever I do my magic.
Yeah, Lucian kind of just throws up his hands and leans back and is just listening some more, but he's interested keenly in the conversation.
Yeah.
So
To
you're
pull
saying that
someone
I can just demand more power from a greater entity?
I think you did that a very different route, and that yours is honestly a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, how did you do that?
Yeah, I don't.
Marcel?
I've never made
you
a
explain?
contract. I'm pretty sure warlocks do that, right?
Right.
Wait, we had to make a contract?
Oh no.
You don't remember?
No.
That must have been a really bad contract.
I'm scooting away from Marcel. Even further.
Can I move
Marcel, thanks for
my
a second.
channeling divinity from myself to Marcel? Just because I'm kind of worried about him.
Sure.
I thought
yeah,
you
it's just-
use your sword for.
Well, yeah, I got a sword, and that's about it.
It's just a normal sword. That doesn't look like a normal sword.
I never said it was normal. It's a good sword.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, can I take a look at his sword from like a smithing perspective to see if there's anything special about it?
Sure. What skill do you think would be most associated with this? I feel like it depends on what information you're trying to glean.
I'm just trying to see if it's like made of special material or if it's just like a random steel sword or something.
Yeah, I'd let you give me either like investigation or history. I think history is probably a little more fitting here.
Do I see him looking at it?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it over the table. 17.
It is relatively normal. You know that the kind of metal that it's forged out of is not foreign to this area. Like it's very common. It's some sort of like very powerful like steel compounds that people use. The thing that is interesting about it is that even on a base level, just looking at it, knowing a lot about magic, you could tell that this thing is enchanted. It has like a faint, very subtle, almost pulse to it that if you spend too long with it, you sort of like attune to it and pick up on the fact that it is magical. Speaking
can I
of
cast detect magic on it,
absolutely. While you
I actually want to roll an Arcana check on it too, seeing that he's looking at it from across the room.
yeah,
Because I haven't heard much about this pact, and this is giving me the vibes. Lucian's interested.
Yeah.
The vibes.
and before we get too far with that, I would like to ask Marcel to also make an Arcana check.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do the best roll. Yeah, nat 20 this bit.
yeah,
I hope so.
I've seen Marcel do his homework, and this is not going to be good.
I'll give you advantage because it's your own sword.
I got 18.
Ooh, with
And
advantage.
advantage.
Yeah, I was about to say you might crit.
Get that crit. Get that crit.
I got nat 1 if it was
He did in fact crit. That's
Key
fair
crit.
enough.
Yeah. So Lucian, you're giving me an Arcana roll. What is that?
And 14.
14. Okay, not bad. You're a very well-studied person, so the DC might be a little adjusted for you.
I'm smarter than Lucian.
Rosaries, you cast Detect Magic. Immediately, this thing has a very powerful enchantment on it, and you are not a wizard nor a caster of arcane magic. So you know the names of these different categories of magic, but you're not incredibly well-versed with them. This gives you a very strong feeling of transmutation and conjuration. which you might know of, but to figure out what those do, that's going to take a lot more knowledge than what you have. But you pick up on that, and this thing is strong. Lucian, on a 14, this thing is beyond, from just what you can pick up looking at it. If this is a normal enchantment, it's a very strong one. But the fact that Marcel uses it to channel power tells you that it's something beyond what you've picked up on. Will you actually give me a history check while I go to Marcel? And Marcel, on an 18 Arcana, almost a nat one, but an 18. Ever since that fight yesterday, where the sword, when you got hit with that fire from Echo's short sword, and your sword sort of reached out to you, and you felt not any words, but a feeling of taking something in, of like redirection, absorption, or hunger, however you want to phrase that. You leaned away from that and got knocked out, and your sword has yet to channel any magic from that. It's been, you still have it, you're still connected to it, but it feels like it's a little more distant from you since you didn't lean into it. Lucian, what'd you get on that history?
14.
Another 14. Beautiful. On a 14 history check, you swear you've heard about that sort of thing before, specific to Valenrun. Not that you've heard about warlocked, packed weapons before. That's fairly common knowledge for anyone who studies magic. But you think you're like, somewhere in Valenrun's history, which my family is distantly connected to, there was some relation to that. Like maybe there was another weapon that they talked about, but I'd have to go back and look at some books to really figure out what I'm thinking of. But like it's pinging in the back of your mind. I'm gonna
save that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna save that for research later.
That would be a good thing to do, just in some downtime research.
Yeah, Rosaris would also let you know about the conjuration, and you said transmutation?
Mm-hmm.
Just, Lucian, you're more of a wizard. This might help you a little bit more.
You said conjuration? Like, my head immediately shoots up, and
Yep.
I'm like, I cast detect magic immediately.
On that 14 Arcana check that you gave me, you cast detect magic. This thing it's stupidly powerful. It has traces of every single magic category in it, but the most powerful of which are conjuration, transmutation, and evocation.
I stand up and I start walking around Marcel as much as I can in a circle, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, I'm all over
Lucian,
this
I'm
right
so
now.
embarrassed. People might say things.
I'm like drawing a sketch of it. Like my little pen is going crazy right now.
You guys hear Drake yell from across the the cafeteria, "Just kiss already!"
Okay, come here, Lucian.
Does it do something if you kiss me?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, it does.
Inside check.
Nah, they're fucking with you. It's April Fool's.
It is April Fool's.
So you've made some kind of deal with some kind of entity, and you have some kind of magic special sword, and you don't even know what it's about.
No, I just grab a sword and yeah, that's about
How
it.
do you speak to this entity, Marcel?
Oh, I say, hey, Jock, how you doing?
That's it.
His name is Jock?
Yeah, I call him that.
And
Is it short for
talks
something?
back.
Marcel thinks for a bit. No, it's just a fun name.
How did you meet this entity, Marcel?
Oh, you see, I was offered a sword. I was like, hey, cool, thanks. And there we go.
Can I search for anything that has a similar name to Jock while this is going on?
Yeah. Give me the details about like kind of how you search for it. Are you just racking your brain for this, or are you gonna like?
Yeah, I'm gonna dig through and see if it rings any memories or something close to that concept.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Give me.
In the
let's
5th
call it a
century,
history
the
check.
great Jock was able to fight against many dragons, split the world asunder.
16.
16. The best thing you can think of is he says Jock. You immediately, your Valenrun tuned mind pings the name Jacques, which is, if you couldn't pick up on it, Valenrun's influenced by French. So it is Jacqueus, that Jock, not like athlete Jock. So it's a name of sorts, and you sort of rack through your mind, and you're like, I've met people named Jock. I've never met a sword named Jock. Not really making a connection, but you can at least tell that Marcel is naming this after like a common name from where you're from.
Marcel, on a scale of
Leo.
1 to 10, how worried should we be about Jock?
1 to 10, huh?
Yes.
Wait, is 10 high or 1 low? Or 1 low, 10 high?
10 is obviously the highest level of worry we should have.
Okay, so then how about 1?
I'm gonna add
So-
5 to that.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any other numbers? We got 6. Do we have 7? Do we have a 4?
Is Jock malicious at all?
No, of course not.
On that, I'm gonna cast Divine Sense. Just-
List me out what Divine Sense does, because this might actually do something.
I can see anything by the hollow spell, know the location of any celestial fiend or undead behind 60 feet, or within 60 feet.
How do I articulate this? You pick up very faint traces of both celestial and fiend from the sword. Very, very faint. It's like, you know that this is not something to be ecstatically worried about. Like, it's not just gonna like summon a demon or a god at any point, but you're like, the thing that created this or whatever enchantment is on this is giving me some sort of feedback in these categories. But just like with Detect Magic, it overlaps a little bit, and there's a very gray area
Okay.
with what you're finding.
I'll give it a 3.
Okay, we got 3. I think 3 is a good number.
Okay. I think, I guess I'll trust that for now.
And I trust you.
I trust that you would tell us if you are getting any bad feelings from this entity, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh, like in case if I get like possessed or something.
Right.
Lucian is just dumbfounded that you would trust that. Like, he's just looking at you with this, like, really, Leo? Really?
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
worry.
kinda
If I
shrugs
get
at him.
possessed, you're the first one I'll tell, Leo.
All right. I hope so.
We're all gonna die.
If you see my eye roll up or my head twist, I'll make sure I say, Leo, I am being possessed.
All right. Well, I'm saying more along the lines if they start talking to you.
If the
more
sword tells you to
frequently or
murder
something.
us, just let us know.
Right. Yes. Something along those lines.
But I would never murder you guys. You're all my friends.
Not willingly, I'm sure. Although, I don't know, maybe.
Yay. There's hope. And that's all, and that's what the sword is made of. Lot of hope. and
It's
steel.
made of really strong steel. There's not very much hope in it at all.
Oh, there's always hope.
A little bit of hope, maybe.
Yay.
Your personal magic.
Thank you.
All right. So what's what are we doing right now?
I thought we're getting like fruits and stuff from the forest.
Is that the plan?
Oh, let's do it.
All right. Sure. Let's do this. I have a lot of studying to do.
Yeah. Apparently, I have some studying to do with Kieran.
All right.
And I
So
have
these
studying
are-
to do because this is a school. And you have to study. Be a good student.
Yeah, I will let you know, Marcel, that of course, in typical fashion, to launch has assigned you multiple pages of writing and research to do over the weekend. So you do have some free time, but you got to dedicate some of your time to academics.
Yeah, he's gonna go to study group. Definitely. But I just want to hang out with friends.
Absolutely. All right, so give me the play-by-play. Let's sort of go into more of a downtime sort of feel. The weekend comes by, and so does the following week. You guys have plenty of time to sort of do whatever you want. If you want to group up or do some individual things, how are we spending this week? What is happening? Are there any super important moments? What do you guys just want to get sort of set on the table and get done? Let's just go around and knock some of this stuff out.
I have something I wanted to do with Leo, but are you wanting just a summary of things?
No, you could tell me, and then we'll sort of like piece things together. So you go and you find Leo at some point. Absolutely. Tell me what you want to do. Go ahead and initiate that with him.
So yeah, I would come and find Leo, maybe in his room one night, and I just kind of knock and, are you there?
Leo is here. Yes, he's gonna come answer the door. Lucian. What
Right.
time
So
is
I
it?
don't know, what time is it? It's early. It's early.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
So in the wee hours of the morning, I want to study a spell that I think you might know, and I was curious if you could maybe do it for me and let me take some notes.
Sure. What spell are we talking about?
So, something, I don't know, I'm going to show you some of mine, and maybe you can show me something similar that you have. And I kind of like hold my hands out in front of me, making the sign of a kind of a dragon, and that's when Lune, the little dragon hawk, will appear, boop, right in front of us.
Whoa.
Right,
No,
I just made that.
Right.
Can you do anything like that?
I can't make a dragon of sorts like that at all. Or is this a dragon? What is this?
It doesn't matter. Can you make anything? It doesn't have to be alive. Just can you create something out of nothing?
Sure. Yeah, I can. And then Leo's gonna walk over to his desk, and he's going to pull out a bowl and set it on the desk. And then you're going to see Leo kind of go into like a slight trance for a second, and then a small like storm cloud forms over top of this bowl and creates water into the bowl. And
Lucian,
that's pretty much all I have for that type of thing.
Lucian, you can see the pin that he carries around with him just going crazy on the pad, and it has this really complex diagram and sigils and everything, all the way down to exactly the way you were standing or kneeling, even if that didn't matter. And you can like see a play-by-play of everything you just did.
What is
Yeah.
this for, Lucian?
It's a secret. I can't tell you. I just wanted to know if you could do it. And let me just say, that was amazing, Leo.
Oh, thank you. I don't think it was as cool as yours, honestly, but I mean, maybe it will come in handy one day, I suppose.
Can you drink it? And Lucian will touch it, see if it's
Yes,
actually real.
of course, you can.
I drink some of it.
Purified.
Some good water.
I try my hardest when it comes to water. Is that all that you needed from me?
That's pretty much it. I think that will be helpful in my research.
Sure. Well, let me know if you need anything else, and I'll help as much as I possibly can.
And then I'll go to leave, but before I do, I'll be like, oh, yeah, it was kind of rude of us with Hildegard. I'm sorry for messing around. Please let her know that I was just kidding, and I hope it works out for you.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate that one also. Thank you. I should be seeing her sometime this week, so we'll see how it goes.
You know if you need
I
that
don't know.
charm spell. And then Lucian dips out of the room.
Leia
Absolutely.
goes back to studying.
Heck yeah. All right. Who's next? What else do you got?
I know at some point Rosaris wants to talk to Lysilda about the oaths.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna say that's probably a better thing for during the week, because over the weekend she had the challenge on
Yeah.
Friday. You might have been able to catch her Saturday or Sunday, but you have classes with her, so it's very easy for you to find her sort of throughout the week. But yeah, you find her after class one day. You sort of, catch her attention and pull her aside after one of your paladin classes, and she just goes, "Hey, yeah, what's up, Rosaris? What can I do for you?"
It's rare for paladins to take the same oath, much less the one we took. So I was just wondering why you took that oath. Where you, like, is it something from the church that you decided to do it for?
Yeah, I meant to ask you about it, honestly, but I just figured that it was more than just the church. I can't assume that everyone in the world follows the same thing I do, but there might be different iterations of it. But yeah, no, it's ever since I was like a young teenager, maybe 12, 13 years old, and I decided I wanted to be a paladin. This is kind of the things that I learned, and there's the core tenets and the sort of church tenets. You add them together, and that's what I said in class.
Are there a lot of paladins that take that oath in the church?
Yeah, I mean, you could ask me about it, but honestly, my parents are kind of just regular people. You'd have a better time asking Leo about it.
Why is that?
His brother and dad are both part of the people who take that oath. I'm sure his brother's already taken it. His dad has been a member of the church for decades.
He hasn't told me anything about that, but I haven't asked either, so.
Well, yeah, that'll do it. But yeah, no, it's a church thing. I guess you and I might not be totally different.
What do you watch for?
Interesting phrasing, but the tenets, as far as I'm concerned, are more focused on... I mean, think of it like this. Corteus is known as the person who killed an archdevil.
Hermit, yeah.
Yeah. So, as someone who follows in his footsteps, I uphold that same level of responsibility, where if anything threatens the world, which, we haven't seen any devils or anything like that in forever, but if anything comes up and I have the power to stop it, which I want to, I will. Whether that's evil people or big scary monsters or, owl bears coming out of the forests, bunch of goblins, doesn't matter. It's just bad is bad, and it's got to go.
Can I do an insight check on her while she's saying that?
Yeah, tell me what you're looking for.
I am looking to see if, like, her motives are as pure as she's making them. Like, she's not lying about the motives behind taking the oath.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I crit.
On the bad side?
Nat one.
Yeah. You get the overwhelming sense that she is speaking without hesitation, without any sort of doubt in her words. This is something that she just... You don't have a single grain of evidence to go on that she is being at all malicious or manipulative with this. I'll give you that.
Okay. Based on that, which I don't like playing that one, so sucks. I think Rosarius will say, at some point, I would like to visit your hometown, but I hope you might visit mine as well.
She kind of furrows her brows and she's like, yeah, where are you from?
I'm from the village of, Zorenza.
Can't say I've ever heard of it. I'm assuming that's not in Wisteria.
A little east of Wisteria.
Small correction.
Southeast.
South. It's definitely south of Wisteria.
South. Okay.
Yeah. Slight correction to the maps.
How dare you?
My bad. Yeah, no, it is. You tell her that it is way far south. It's in Timera, which is two distinct, almost continents, in the same way that North America and South America are two different places. Wisteria and Timera, totally separate. So you tell her, like, yeah, I'm from Timera, it's to the south. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I would love to visit Timera someday. It sounds gorgeous, honestly. Wisteria is great and all, but Timera is It's got a lot of diversity too. It's got a lot of good things going for it.
Yeah, there's a lot to look at. But yeah, I think I would like to see what the Oath of the Watchers looks like in your context, and you can see it from mine.
Sure. I would like that. That'd be fun.
Cool. Well, I won't hold you up. I know we have classes, and I know you're gonna try to sneak a peek over at the cleric area, so I'll let you get to that.
She sort of softly punches you on the shoulder and smiles a little bit as she heads off. Great. All right. So we got that knocked out. Who's next? We got anything else on the agenda for the upcoming week?
I
Well,
guess I can try to find Valeris.
Yeah, Gwen. At some point throughout the week of your choice, you sort of travel around campus until you find Rolaris, who you don't know much about him, so it's very difficult for you to really like pin him down and find him.
Mm-hmm.
But just walking around campus, you sort of see him at some point and you call over to him and he walks up to you and he's like, "Hey, yeah, what's up, Gwen? What can I do for you?"
I was just wondering if you could maybe teach me how to meditate, like I saw you do at the lake.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Are you a monk?
No, I just thought it might maybe help me clear my mind when things get a little rough.
Yeah, sure. He reaches up and kind of like scratches some of the golden scales on his head, and he's like, I mean, I'm assuming we're going to be starting from like ground zero here, but it's not impossible. I can give you at least some pointers and help you clear your mind, relieve some stress, hopefully. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Do you want to like meet at the lake sometime, or just want me to sort of give you a bullet point list of what I do?
Let's maybe meet at the lake. I think it would be better to actually try to sit down and practice it than to just try with the bullets.
Yeah. Meet me after classes. I'll be there. I like to spend time there, so I'll catch you in the same spot.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep. You guys go your separate ways, and he heads off. And a couple of the upperclassmen sort of wave to him and say hi, and he dodges through them and gets to class. After all the classes are wrapped up for the day, you go down to the lake where you see him sitting there meditating and sort of, in that crisscross position, his wrists on his knees and looking out over the lake, his back very straight. He's a very tall dude, very large, very strong. A couple of the monks that you've seen on campus are very like lean and wiry, but he does not fit that description very well.
He got some girth.
He's got some girth. Thank you, Marcel. But you approach him, and you can see like his head turn a little bit as you're walking softly on the ground up to him, and he says, "All right." And he sort of cracks his neck, turns to look at you, and he's like, "First things first, sit down, drop all your stuff. Just needs to be you."
Okay. Gwen takes off like her bag and anything else that might be attached to her, like her bow and her quiver. Forgot that word for a second. And then she sits down.
Yeah, you sit down beside him, and he sort of, again, breathes in very deeply, breathes out, and he's like, "All right, first things first, get a regular pattern of breath. Be very conscious of your breathing. Be very aware of the control you have over your body." And he sort of guides you through a couple of breathing techniques. He closes his eyes and breathe in. He waits a couple seconds, breathes out, and his body decompresses with it. And you kind of match. You do the same.
Yeah, she just kind of looks at his face first to like see what he's doing, and she's like, "Oh, I should probably close my eyes too, huh?" And then she like follows through and does what he does.
After a couple of seconds, y'all's breath sort of starts to match and get into this very comfortable, slow rhythm, and you start to immediately feel yourself like, I don't want to say calm down, but your body starts to slow and decompress and get you into a much more like comfortable state. After that, he says, right, well, next you could either just clear your mind and be alone with yourself, sort of be in tune with your body, which is a big thing that monks teach, you know. Being very grounded and present is very good, but at the same time, this is a good time to reflect and think on things. So if you have anything that sort of sticks out to you, typically it's good to think on positive things, obviously, but if you need to work through anything once you get to the situation, having a consistent flowing sound like the water from the lake helps keep you in a rhythm and regulated. But yeah, it's just a good time to think, to ponder, or to not think at all.
Do you have any maybe tips or anything you do if you can't really seem to stop your mind from racing or something?
Yeah, sure. Do you have anything specific that sort of brings up very positive feelings like curiosity and wonder and appreciation?
She just kind of thinks for a second, and then she's like, I guess maybe seeing like the different creatures that are in this, what is it, continent, country, whatever it is, Wisteria.
Yeah. I get that. So you're very fond of animals. That's always good. It's a little less reliable than some other things, but it's good. It's good.
I like food.
Don't we all? I'll give you an example, and we can work from there. So typically, if you're going to be processing things, you want to start from a place of positivity. You want to think of something that you really like and appreciate. Look up, and he sort of points straight up above the lake.
She looks.
Yeah, you turn your head up, and he sort of like leans over a little bit, and he points, and he's like, all right, you see those clouds up there that are kind of like, you know, hovering above the lake and seem to be like gathered up?
Yeah.
All right, wait a couple seconds. When you see a split in them, tell me what you see. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. 6.
Ugh. You are watching, but it's very far away. Like, it's up in the clouds. Obviously, it's not something that you're going to be able to see very easily. But you swear, between the cracks of the clouds that are sort of like moving and forming, two things. One, these clouds don't seem to be moving very much. They are in motion, but they're not like moving left and right, forward and back. It's more like they are centered around a point and stay within that area. And then you swear, for the briefest moment, you catch a glimpse of like brown and green through the cracks of the clouds. And as you're watching and like squinting your eyes, Rolaris says, you know, it's a very big, wide, strange world, and one of the things that absolutely blew me away and made me want to come here was reading stories of stuff like that. And he points up and he says, apparently, this dude, Elissarin, Loomis, was such a great and powerful wizard that there was an island in the center of the lake that he moved up there.
You telling me there's an island up there?
Apparently, that's what people say. I've never been there, obviously. But
You know how we can get up there?
if you find a way up there, you let me know.
Alright, will do.
But I think that is just the coolest shit in the world. And I am not a magic person, but I have a deep appreciation for that creativity, that ingenuity that apparently people like him seem to foster. So I try to be like that. And whenever I'm trying to process through things like I am one to do, I like to start with something like that gets me feeling good. And then I look at the things that are negative and say, how could I get that to the same level.
Okay. I think I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so you don't have to tell me, but, think of something that just the thought of it, you can't help but smile.
And then Gwen just kind of like sits there for a moment, trying to think on some things. And she does kind of like break a smile, but she doesn't say what it is.
Laris notices and he says, "That's great. Now, whatever is troubling your mind, go to that in increments. And if you need to go back to square one, it's okay." And then he just goes silent, and you can hear like his rhythmic breathing as he leaves you to sort of think in peace.
All right.
As you sort of sit there and think, and you have your eyes closed and you're pondering over this, you don't have to tell us sort of what you're thinking, but at some point you do open your eyes and you realize that a good amount of time has passed, and you've spent at least the better part of an hour just silent, alone with your own thoughts, to the point where you did not notice that Rolaris had left. But you're sitting there, the sun a little bit further down in the sky than it was before. Even if you don't give us details, how's Gwen feeling? What is that sort of transition like for her?
Gwen's feeling pretty good. She's just still kind of been struggling a little bit with like the druid stuff, but she has been getting a little bit better. She just kind of wanted something to maybe help her when things kind of just come up again. And she thinks this is gonna really help her.
Fantastic. So Gwen starts maybe meditating a little bit in her free time, and now has a sort of system for calming down, clearing her mind, and stuff like that. It's really good. I like it.
All right.
Anybody else? Last call for weekly activities for what you guys do over the weekend or throughout the week leading up into the finale of the party games.
Yeah. Marcel has something he has to do.
Oh boy.
Yeah. He's one of his study sessions. He talks to Talon, right? That's how he's pronounced.
Talon, yeah.
Talon. And
so yeah,
he wants to speak to her.
Who's all
stuff.
at this study session? Is it just the 3 warlocks? Do you invite anybody else? What's the thing here?
I think it was just the warlocks. We fine.
Cool. If that is the case, yeah, it's you, Talon, and Ravik. You know Ravik to be this kind of like charming and very friendly guy. Talon is a little bit more quiet and in the background kind of person, does her work and doesn't really bother to go too crazy. But you're studying with these two sort of in the library at one point, writing one of Talancha's papers, and Ravik is just like, how can one teacher assign so much studying and work? We're warlocks. We already have the powers. I don't...
Honestly,
Make it make sense.
Ravik, I think maybe this stuff is actually going to be helpful because I have been through a very strange situation during one of my fights with, sparring sessions.
He kind of like sets his head against the desk and he's like, yeah, I know it's going to be useful. It's just frustrating and we got to understand where our powers come from, but it's just... And Talon will speak up. She'll be like, what do you mean, situation? If anything, my magic is always consistent and regular. You're getting fluctuations or something weird happening?
Yeah, fluctuations is actually, I think that's a good word for it. For me, my magic is from the sword. Obvious, right?
Yeah.
We read about a whole chapter about that, but it tried to communicate with me during the fight. And I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that, but mostly because it was during a time where I was in the heat of the battle, right?
Mhm.
And I felt like it was trying to give me a push But for me, I just felt that it was trying to say, do this or you're not worthy. And I kind of took that a little harsh to myself because this sword is kind of important. But I also don't want my actions to cause a disconnect between me and Jock.
Talon sort of gives you a look of recognition and understanding, and then Ravik sort of pulls his head up and he's just like, did you just say your sword is talking to you?
What? No, it's strange. It's like, you know when you're hungry, right? Your stomach grumbles?
Yeah, right now.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like a weird instinct. You understand what it's saying, even though you don't need words. That's how I try to think about it anyway.
Sure. Yeah, man. Talon sort of leans back and crosses her arms, and she's like, I wish I could relate, but if anything, my communication is astoundingly clear. I know we're not super close, and we haven't always talked about it, but she sort of waves her hand, and this little figure forms around her shoulder, almost like it was moving and crawled up onto her shoulder, of this little tiny red, what looks to be a baby dragon. And it's sitting there perched on her shoulder and sort of looks at you guys and tilts its head and sort of sniffs the air a little bit. And she's like, I know you've seen Lemmy. I have him around a lot. He's a very great guy, but like we talk all the time and the communication's very clear. So I can't, I don't think I completely understand. So it was more of like an instinctual feeling, not like telling you to do something.
If you're saying that there were words, not that I could remember at the time. I don't believe so. In fact, I believe it was more like trying. It's like connecting. It's like connected to me. So I don't know. I felt that was a very strange situation for me.
You say that, and then Talon's little familiar, this little red baby dragon, pseudo dragon looking thing, sort of crawls down onto the table and curls up like a cat into a ball, and she kind of runs her hand along his head and pets him. She looks at him for a couple seconds before responding, and she's like, well, I can't speak for you, but I can say that my connection with Lemmy here is a good thing. It's something that I chose and that I accept, and my magic is connected to him, so I want to have the best connection with him that I can. And even whenever he is a little annoying brat and likes to bite people's ankles, I'm still stuck with him. And I don't think I would even enjoy the alternative. So I guess what I'm saying is it might give you weird feelings at first, but if you don't think it's dangerous, it doesn't sound like something that you can really control. You might as well see if you get anything from it.
True. I guess my relationship with my sword is probably different from how you guys got your abilities.
Ravik looks at you, like lifting his head up again. He's like, "Oh, listen, man. I don't got a clue in the world how I got my abilities. I'm just cool like that."
Marcel's just like shaking his head. Good for him.
He slams his head back down on the desk. Talon sort of sits back for a second and thinks. She's like, if you really are curious about it, I would maybe talk to Talanch, see if she can help you out at all.
Yeah, she does seem to have much better insight in this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Professor Malik is great. He's a great time. He's so fun, but I think Talanch is gonna be a little more experienced.
I just don't want more homework. I'm scared if I ask, like, oh, you want this? So here, another textbook you should read. No!
Well, I mean, that's why we're at a school, right? To learn about the things that we can do and to get new abilities.
Yeah, but...
yeah, it sounds to me like that's your best bet. Listen, I'll be here to help you if you need it all, but I think if you keep running into this issue, Talanch is the person to go to.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. She goes back to writing her paper, and Ravik gets up, looking like he's dead tired, and also continues working on his homework.
Marcel's writing stuff down too, and it's like, to-do list, talk to teacher about powers of the unknown,
Yep.
whatever.
And with that, you're left to continue your studies. You could go talk to Talanch throughout this week if you would like to, but at some point after the fight, that connection with Jock slowly feels like it does reappear. Maybe not as strong as you had felt it previously, but definitely like you feel like you can cast magic and do abilities and stuff. You're just not as certain about it yet. From there, last call for anybody doing stuff throughout the week.
I wanted to finish up a couple things real quick from what I learned from Leo.
Absolutely.
So there's two things I want to do. The first one is I want to spend just a little bit of time at the library researching some kind of correlation between swords and entities and whatever for Marcel's case. And then the rest of the time in the library, I'm going to try to study a way, because I would know that Leo's magic comes from God, or he believes it comes from God, or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to figure out a way to duplicate what he showed me, but using arcane magic instead.
Absolutely. Give me an investigation and a religion check.
For the first one, can I give him the help action? Because I'm interested in doing that as well.
Yeah, if you guys want to do this together, I would gladly let maybe you guys either split these roles, both of you get advantage, or anything along those lines.
Yeah, we can both roll if you want. Which one first? Investigation?
Yeah, do you guys want to split up religion to one of you, investigation to the other?
It's fine. I'm good at both, so it doesn't matter.
Do you just want to roll? I'll roll investigation with advantage. You want to roll religion with advantage? Because I feel like the religion is not my religious expertise. It's more the magical side of things.
You could both just roll and tell me who gets higher. It could go either way.
Yeah, let's just do that. Why don't you roll and then I'll roll.
My investigation with advantage is 7.
Okay, yeah, no, you're...
I got 17.
Okay. Rosari's go ahead and roll a flat religion check, and we'll just see how this...
They're both 7s. I accidentally rolled with advantage, but so it's an 11. I am not understanding what you're trying to do, Lucian. I tried to help, and you should probably just tell me to go away.
Yeah, I think to summarize this, Lucian is looking for something very specific, but maybe doesn't know how to articulate that to you, so you're just kind of broadly reaching around and aiding your knowledge as best you can. But Lucian, you do hit that 17 investigation. Go ahead, rephrase to me the two things that you were looking for.
First off, I want to find, whether it be through entities or something about magic swords, I want to try to comb through things about those to see if I can tie something together to Marcel.
Absolutely. And then the second one was about conjuration magic, right?
Yeah, trying to, because this is a pretty low level spell, I would imagine. Trying to make that conjuration of water that he did, not through the power of God or self-belief, whatever it is that Leo does to get that, but instead do it through pure magic.
Yeah, I am a fan. Which one is more important to you?
The part with Leo.
Cool. You are a little more focused on sort of your own potential gain from this, trying to understand conjuration magic, which has always fascinated you. The ability to create things out of thin air is something that, in most text, is associated with crazy powerful divine or fiendish or whatever it is deities. The fact that humans can at some form replicate this is fairly impressive. You start looking into conjuration and you start seeing a lot of stuff that you sort of already know about. There are a couple of spells like Ice Knife, Grease, Unseen Servant, these sort of things where you can create these temporary things from magic, but you look into how it relates to the divine casters. And I'm not gonna say you hit a wall, but you hit a layer of just it doesn't click with you. You find the information and it just does not sit with you. Wizards and arcane casters either directly draw their power from a place, like a sorcerer has innate magic, warlocks make a deal for it, wizards study the literal essence of magic and learn how to use it how they want. Leo's form of this, the divine casters, it's something that has a lot less research into how it works, and the best understanding that you get about it is he believes in his god, and either his belief in his god allows him to do these effects, or his god is directly giving him these powers. And you're not sure which one it is. I'm not sure how religious Lucian is, but something along those lines almost irritates you, and you say, at least with us arcane casters, there is rhyme and reason. But for clerics and at some point paladins, it's there's a disconnect from how the magic works. But you do think that with enough time and research, the ability to mold and shape spells as you please, you could replicate some of those effects. So you may not be able to cast Create or Destroy Water right now, but you think if you learn enough magic, you could almost piece together different spells with similar ideas and create a replication of that spell.
So I think that's what, hearing all that stuff, I think what Lucian would probably do is, knowing Grease himself, I think he's going to try to tie that Create and Destroy Water spell with Grease, but instead of it being Grease, coming out as more of that queer, maybe not necessarily pure water, but starting somewhere, and that's what he would spend the whole week researching, aside from that little touch of trying to dig for Marcel.
Yeah, so you get some help with Rosaris on this first part. Outside of that, with y'all's lower religion checks, for the most part, the best you could find about like Marcel's sword and anything along enchanted and warlock style weapons, a lot of them come without any source that you know of, the ones that are historically documented. The best sort of lead you have with that is the deity that is revered in Valenrun, Aimer, this legendary wizard who founded this great library. He helped establish arcane magic as like a formal practice. He helped discover a lot of the known spells. He was very tied with enchanting material objects. That was a specialty of his. So you might look into him at some point and say, like, oh, if I really want to dig to the bottom of this, learning about him would be a good place to start. But those are your 2 points for you. Last call. Anybody else? Any other loose ends you guys want to tie up throughout the week? Leo, obviously you go on that little lunch date with Hildegard. You have a couple study sessions with Lysilda that are a lot calmer this time.
That's good.
Kieran, what you got?
I could pull off my little information gathering at this time.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do here?
I just want to try to figure out where all the students who follow the Church of Paran kind of hang out with, like what areas. And then I want to dress up like somebody with like a fake symbol and stuff and go and hang out with them. And take notes.
First things first, give me your method of research. How are you going about this? Because that's going to severely affect the DC of what you're trying to do.
Well, everyone goes to the same place for lunch.
That's true. So are you just sort of scouting around until you find someone just blaringly wearing a symbol of the Church of Paran?
Yeah, basically just gonna take a look around with everyone and see if I can find anyone who's either talking about it, wearing some obvious symbols, or anybody who is somewhat looking a little sketch, who's hanging out with some people who are church related. Because I'm not just looking for the church people.
Yeah, I'll say at some point throughout the week, you guys are eating lunch. You sort of scurry off to go throw your food away, and you scout the room to try to find someone who has any sort of semblance, looking out specifically for the people you know to be associated with, like, maybe clerics, paladins, religious organizations, stuff like that. Weirdly enough, the one that you pick up on the easiest is neither of those things. It is no role necessary. It's very out in the open. You would see this kid Balon, who you've seen like Rosari's talked to before. He is wearing some like nicer clothes, just for like a relaxing day in classes, and then he has like not necessarily a pin, but a symbol of the Piran Church sort of over his left side of his shirt. And he's sitting at a table talking to his party right now, which you know a couple of them. That would be like Lysilda, Barry, Talon, Delphina, and then Simon, one of the wizards, and another kid named Leofric. So a couple familiar faces, but you sort of pick up on him and see like, oh, he's wearing the symbol that I've seen before, so.
Okay, I am going to try and pull a little charismatic stunt in front of them and see if I can get some information.
Yeah, what do you do and what information?
I'm going to jaunt up to them and accidentally bump into Balin's back and drop something on the ground and see how he reacts.
Sure, go ahead and give me a deception check with advantage.
Let's go with a 26.
Damn. All right. You stroll on up, just la 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 la, boom, bump, and you like drop your fork or something as you bump into Balon's back, and you immediately hear him go, "Oh, I'm so sorry, excuse me," and he like leans down to help you pick the stuff up, and he looks up at you and he's like, "Do I know you? I've seen you around somewhere."
Oh, I come and go, and I'm around, that's for sure. You look very familiar, and I look up to Lysilda and all them. Oh, you guys all look very familiar. Sorry about that.
Barry and Lysilda both just go, "Oh, hey, Kieran," and he goes, "Kieran, that name sounds familiar. You're probably friends with someone that I know. Yeah, sorry, if I was in your way, you could just let me know. I'll scoot out. That's my apologies."
No problem. And I take a glance at his pin, and I'm like, "Oh, I recognize that pin anywhere. I was raised by them when I was a child."
Really? You were raised by the church? Where are you from?
I was. I'm from. I don't know if you've been there. Called Hillmount.
Yeah, hi, neighbor. I'm from Indira. I'm just a couple miles away, honestly. That's crazy. I didn't know anybody else. I didn't know many people from Timera were here. That's interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's good to hear. I mean, I know the church is doing a lot in, Eastern Timera, so glad to see that their influence on Hillmount's having some positive effect.
It is. I was actually wondering, why do you guys worship around here? I've been looking for some sort of prayer group or something. I know you guys probably like your own little space.
Yeah, I'm still getting accustomed to the school too, still getting my feet underneath me, but the religious club is a good place to go if you're interested in that. And obviously there's a chapel on campus that you could always swing by to.
Awesome. Is there much other practitioners around here, or are we like the only two we've bumped into so far?
I've heard of a couple, not many. It seems Wisteria is much more of a agnostic region, if I'm honest.
Oh, that's a shame. I mean, different people for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much. I really hope to see you guys all around. If you ever need anything, I I'm pretty good at helping people out. I like to help my friends. So just give me a shout whenever.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily need anything, but if you do want to, if you want to help me start up this Piran thing here at the school, I think that could potentially kick off. I know there's got to be other people. I just don't have a formal group yet.
But I have a great source of information. I'll put up posters immediately. So we can get a nice little secular group going here, and keep the glory going, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we'll meet in the chapel sometime. So I'll catch you around.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yes. Can you give me a perception check as you go to leave?
Boy, I don't like that. I don't like that anywhere. 11.
11. You hear Lucilda sort of start whispering over to the table as you start to leave, and she's like, "Do you think he was trying to listen to our strategy?" And then by the time they continue the conversation, you're gone.
I'm like, oh, that could be a good idea too.
With that, I think. Do we have anything else over the week?
Other than me making posters for religion I never really practiced, sure.
Yeah, so we'll say that you kind of get that started and rolling before the week ends. You get some posters made. Anything else? No? Sounds like that's it. All right, well, the week goes by. You guys all go throughout your classes. Athera, you continue to practice Wild Shape with Professor Mineo. Gwen, you spend a lot of time with Professor Brandt, honing your archery, talking about ranger skills. You guys do have a little bit of a conversation about the subclass thing, and you're kind of finding your talent somewhere. I'm not going to say your passion by any means, but you're good with a bow. You're good at tracking and hunting animals. It's something you've been accustomed to, so she's sort of leaning into that, helping you with it. Kieran, you begin making these flyers. Your rogue classes are going fairly well. Professor Gilnick is entertaining as always, and half the time y'all's class is just at random places around campus. Leo, you spend a ton of time doing kind of homework, research, praying to Corteus. Can we get an update on Leo's, I guess, like mental state after the last couple of weeks with these estranged dreams and interesting dynamics between the party?
I mean, I think that Leo is having a bit of an inner struggle with a lot of things that are going on, not just with his party, but with like himself and what he believes for the most part.
Yeah.
So I guess he's not depressed, but like he's torn.
Yeah.
I would have to say.
I think it goes almost without saying, if it has not been obvious yet, that the Church of Corteus, between Leo and Lucilda, we've learned that they are very forward and, I don't want to say aggressive, but they're warriors. And with the recent interaction with Rosaries and Lucilda, it's known that they have a strong belief that violence is simply like a tool, and if you use it incorrectly, that is on you, but violence itself is not evil. So Leo is, you're probably torn. You're in this conflict that you've had for a while between your own personal beliefs of pacifism and peace and this religion that you grew up with that ever since you were like a young adolescent started becoming more and more of an issue. You became more and more of a wallflower to your own people. So yeah, I'd say in some way the school might be more welcoming new beliefs and things like that, but you're definitely still on the fence and struggling with, what to do. Lucian, you spent a ton of time doing magical research. You're practicing with this grease spell, not noticing any significant progress yet, but you're taking notes on everything. You're sort of keeping a track list of how can I change spells to do what I want? How can I mold them to do other things that I know about with spells? Can I substitute words or material components? You start messing around with that, and nothing major, but some progress. Marcel, homework as always, hanging out with Talon and Ravik, having a good time there. And then Rosari's, again, training with Beatrice day in, day out. You have some homework from Professor Tarada. Some interesting things happening in the religious studies class. You guys are going over these like religious poems and workings that Professor Arihala gave you. Lasilda is getting your help with that a lot. She's not the poetry type. And she also doesn't know that much about other religion, so it's a struggle there. But the week goes by. The energy is high. A lot of the first years and upperclassmen are all very excited for the weekend coming up as the party games commence. But before they start on Friday, we're going to take a little break.
Without Dave, what's the point, right?
Without Dave, what is the point? All right. Welcome back, y'all. We got a couple more things to get through before we're done for the night. Just to really set the scene for how things are going. At the school, as of right now, the last week has gone by. All the other parties sort of finished out their third challenges, a lot of them seeming to be successful, not as much struggle as there were in the first couple of weeks, but you guys essentially got done early. You finished the second and third challenge all in 1 week, and with, Rant giving you guys that little extra mission of clearing out the Onkeg cave, you had a little bit of downtime. In that downtime, a lot of personal work got done, a little bit of research. Kieran looked into the Church of Prawn a little bit. Leo is having some self-reflection while he studies. Lucian performing magical experiments. The list goes on. But the energy around campus continues to grow and grow. The excitement swelling. People are buzzing, talking about it. Even upperclassmen are saying, like, hey, this group of first years is actually seeming pretty potent. They're going to have more than just one or two groups who are ready at the end to, give this stuff a shot and finish out the party games with the blast. You guys meet for homeroom class on Friday on Magum. And, you guys meet with Ranth halfway through the day, like right before lunch, and she sits all of you down and she says,
Okay, Professor Rand.
Hi, Marcel. How's it going?
Pretty good. Especially now you're here.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Anyways, so, update for you guys. After talking with the other professors and getting an assessment of all of the parties, we have the plan for the finale of the party games ready. So we thought we would just let you guys know to go over every one of the first years to establish who is participating versus who is not. Let's just very quickly hit this list. So we had two groups choose to not participate. They are going to stay out just because they have the decision to not fight. So I'll just list these out. Tiffany, Torin, Rangram, Gilmiri, Gwanlin, and Larik are all sitting out, as well as Nelvin, Asta, Teddy, Aiken, Ravik, and Maya. I don't think we need to really worry about that because none of them are in here. Apparently we scared them. So, congrats to you guys. The other things that I could potentially mention here are a couple of groups ended up not fully qualifying. If I don't call your name for the qualified groups, just know that you didn't make it. But for we got 3 groups who all qualified, and I am very proud to say that they're all in here. And she kind of looks around the class, and you guys see your group, Kata's group, and Lucilda's group all sitting in here. And she looks around at you guys. She looks down at the list, and she says, "Oh, well, shit, this is a first. You all made it. And none of the other class did."
Tri-Adventurer Tournament?
I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. And you see Ranth like actually kind of uppity and happy for once, and she says, "Great. Well, I guess the only other thing that we should establish is, by process of elimination," she points to y'all's group and says, "Our chaotic gremlins over here, you guys will all get a bye round, and you will not be required to participate in the elimination section, whereas," and she points over to the other two groups and she says, "because they won the scavenger hunt, because they finished their things early, the other professors and I who were over this decided that you guys would also hold a sort of sparring match against each other to determine who would go up against them tomorrow for the big finale, the big event. This one will be much more low scale. Some first years might participate, but it's just to see which one of you guys has the better combat readiness as we prepare. So, let's go ahead and go down to the field, yeah? Do you guys
Yeah.
want to join?" And she motions over to you guys.
I would love to join. We all would love to join, right, guys?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
He whispered to
Yeah.
Lucian, "Get your notebook ready. We need to study."
Ranth looks at you guys and she says, "Great, well, listen, let me go get Professor E. Trelval and a couple clerics to make sure that no one gets severely hurt, but I'll meet you guys down at the practice field. You guys go ahead and start getting ready. Athera, Gwen, Kieran, Leo, Lucian, Marcel, Rosaries." Oh, what a big group. You guys feel free to just sit in the stands and watch. This is going to be, again, just for elimination purposes. This is not a huge deal, but it also kind of is. So, let's skedaddle. And she ushers you guys out and goes off to a different part of campus. And you guys march along with the other people in Ranth's homeroom class, which again, just to read out all of the names, you have Simon, one of Billy's lackeys, Barry and Kata, who are close friends and friends with Rosaries, Lucilda from Leo and Rosaries as well, Marcel's classmate Talon, you have Gwen's roommate
Talon.
Delphina. Talon's like, "Hey, sorry, talking strategy, kind of busy." Gwen's roommate Delphina is also up there talking with her party. You have Balon and Athera's roommate Leofric. Not roommate, sorry, classmate. What?
Whoa.
That's not
Whoa.
allowed.
Whoa.
Whoa. So they're all in one party. Simon, Barry, Lucilda, Talon, Delphina, Balon, Leofric. That's party one. Party two is Kata, Beatrice, Lucian, your classmate Cilia, the elf girl with white hair, Sivik, who I believe is Leo's roommate, Denny, who I think is he's
The
close.
owl.
Yeah, he's the owl guy, and then Kieran's roommate Thatch. That is party number two. So you guys are walking over. These two parties split up and immediately start going into like strategy. They're like, "Okay, I'll go this way, you go this way. Let's do." So like, yeah, there's some polite waves, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, it's good to see you. I'm a little busy." What are you guys sort of thinking and talking about as you head to the practice field?
So I'm guessing asking Thatch for an F of the bomb is going to be not a good idea.
Probably not at the moment. No.
Okay, guys, we should look intimidating. We should be like, "Oh, we're the top dogs and stuff," Like we're the best at the school.
Gwen's just gonna wave and smile at everyone.
Gwen, you wave and
Marcel.
smile at everybody, and a couple people do respond back. You get like Leofric, who's a druid. He kind of like waves at you, and he's like, and then he gets pulled back down into his group to sit there and practice. Delphina sneaks away unnoticed and goes up to you, and she's like, "Psst, hey,
Yeah.
Hey.
What?
do you think you could like shoot people from the stands?"
I'm not quite sure if that'd be allowed.
Well,
I can
what if
maybe
no one
try.
sees you do it?
I don't know if I want to get in trouble, but maybe if I can like sneak one in.
Maybe.
To someone you want me to
Okay,
shoot.
well, don't confirm it with me, but if you do, that's great. If you don't, that's also great, but just don't tell me, that way I'm not an accomplice. Okay, bye. And she
Okay.
skittles off back to her group. But yeah, you guys are walking behind them. Gwen's waving and socializing. The people you guys recognize all give you like some sort of affirmative wave or nod as you guys head over. But it's not a super long walk to the practice field. You guys get over there, and the other teams immediately get to like opposite ends, and it's very clear right now. It looks almost like just like a football or a soccer field. There's no goalpost at the end. There are like some stands. It's not super big. It's not meant to hold a ton of people. The school isn't large, but the big field space is very open and kind of just out there. They go to opposite ends and begin strategizing. You guys are left up in the stands, and after a couple minutes, Rant comes in with a couple other like staff and upperclassmen volunteers. Is there anything you guys talk about and mention to each other or plan to do while the others fight, or are you just gonna wait and watch and see what happens?
Marcel will be doing like his best scowl, like, haha, this would be intimidating. Here we go, like this.
Ooh, very menacing.
Can Lucian send the familiar out over in the direction just to kind of listen in?
Sure. Are you trying to do this stealthily, or are you just very blatantly sending your familiar out to go near some of the parties?
I would say that as we walked in, I probably would have sent him up and about just to kind of blend in a little. So somewhat like, fading into the surroundings to appear a little more naturally, but he'll just keep circling above everybody.
Sure. Go ahead. Give me a flat perception check from your familiar's senses.
Is it not an advantage on the perception because of the hawk?
It cancels out the disadvantage from trying to remain at a distance.
Fair enough. I can manually roll it. Sorry.
I'll say my scowl only gets a 7, so it'll be more like this.
Well.
12. You pick up a little bit. Which group are you focused on? So group 1 would be Simon, Barry, Lysilda, Talon, Delphina, Balon, Leofric. And group 2 would be Kada, Beatrice, Cilia, Sivik, Denny, and Thatch.
Probably Kada.
Cool. You send... It's Lunala, right?
Yeah.
You send Lunala over, flying above, picking up faint whispers and, excited talking and plans and things like that. The main thing that you pick up is their entire plan. A lot of their party is made up of more support people. They don't have a lot of big, beefy, strong people, except Beatrice. So she is going to be, like, both the spearhead and the shield. Beatrice is going up front. The rest of them are supporting her from the side, behind, from different angles and things like that, but they're planning to send Beatrice up to initiate combat. Anything else from you guys?
You can continue.
Go ahead, Izzy.
I was just gonna say that I'm just gonna be watching Beatrice.
Oh, you be watching her,
You'll be
alright.
watching Beatrice.
Watching.
Yeah. All right. What else?
Marcel will hope that Talon's team win.
You cheer them on. Let's go, Talon.
I
Who's
thought
on?
I did.
And then scowl.
She gives you a big thumbs up, and then you scowl, and she's just like, "What the? Okay."
Who's
Mixed
in
messages.
Delphina's
Throwing
party?
off my opponents.
Delphina has Simon, who's again one of the wizards that was friends with Billy. He's like the tall, gangly, redheaded guy. He has Barry, Lysilda, Talon, Marcel's classmate, Balon, the guy from Rosari's class and the guy from the Paran Church that Kieran talked to, and Leofric, Athera's classmate, which I
Okay,
can pull up
when-
their pictures.
They go up there to fight. I'm just gonna try to like sneak and find a spot to where it would look like I'm just gonna shoot like 2 arrows and like find a spot to seem like it would about come from like their team towards whoever they're fighting.
I'm gonna say
if
go
possible.
ahead, give me an investigation check to try to find a place to shoot arrows without being immediately caught.
Marcel
And I'm
turns
gonna-
to Rosarius.
I am gonna give you disadvantage on this. That is such a big task.
Marcel turns to Rosarius. Hey, Rosarius, I have a question. Is Gwen trying to shoot her bow and arrow with Professor Rant in the same area?
I don't think Gwen is that brash. You know, I trust her to not do that.
Why'd you have to give me disadvantage? Why'd you have to do that?
Because it's a damn near impossible task.
Can I
got a
see
7.
can I see that she's like what she's trying to do and that she's struggling? Like, can I
Probably.
be like, oh, she's obviously sitting right there.
I think it's very obvious that Gwen sort of detaches from the group and looks at like some of maybe the side entrances and sees like, can I hide here and shoot? And you are looking around and you find nothing. So you probably see her off to the side, just kind of like, don't mind me, just looking around.
I'm
Just
gonna
kicking some
like
dirt.
I kind of like finger the little focus that Baron gave me, and I'm going to, for the first time, try and use Pass Without Trace and give her that bonus.
Nice. Go ahead, give me an Arcana check. The
Okay.
DC is literally don't roll a nat one.
Okay. Perfect. 14.
Yeah, you cast Pass Without Trace as Gwen is like getting up and leaving. And Gwen, you feel like as you walk, your footsteps sound very muffled. It's almost like the soles of your feet catch the ground and then hold your weight up just a little bit longer, easing you onto the ground as you step. Like it sounds like you're barely even there. So you have advantage,
Okay.
or not advantage, but a huge bonus to stealth rolls. But how good is stealth when you're wide out in the open? That is the question.
I don't know. Should I try it?
Yeah, sure. Try. Have fun.
I'm gonna let you make this call, but I'm gonna let you know now, just over the table, it ain't gonna work. It ain't no way.
I'm gonna try it anyways.
Yeah, get it.
So she was could
Wait, you get
Never.
plus 10 to that.
19.
There you go.
Okay. So you kind of like hide off behind a corner of one of the entrances, so like people don't immediately see you, but it's with how few people there are here and how wide open it is, you are out of sight and sort of hidden for now, off in the shadows of this like hallway that leads outside of the practice field. However, as soon as you go to take shots or step out or make yourself known, it's not going to be hard for someone to spot you. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it's impossible. The chance is just low.
Okay.
And I will leave it at that and let you make your decision from there.
I'll do one shot.
with that in mind, did Rosari see her get up and leave and do all of this?
Yeah, you all saw her.
Cool. Rosarius is gonna follow her.
Rosarius, no, we can't.
Oh, are we going somewhere? Lucian will get up to.
Wait, what's happening?
Rosarius is just
Leo,
gonna.
Rosarius and Lucien are going to see Gwen. You should join them too. They might need a healer.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and follow.
Adira,
What?
you should follow them as well. Didn't you cast that weird spell thing? You need to make sure it works.
You could see that I did that?
But yeah, you spoke a bunch of words and moved your hands. You
Hmm.
weren't quiet.
Are you staying? Are you going along?
No, I'll stay here. I'll keep you. I'll say that you guys are all using the restroom
I
together at once.
I kind
the
of
same
feel
stall.
like all of us going over there defeats the purpose.
No, it's actually more helpful. So you just make sure that the spell works. I mean, isn't Passport Trace? How does that work?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
See,
More of
so
a
now you have to go over there to see how it works.
I think I will watch it from here.
This is not working.
Come on.
As you guys sort of finish out the conversation and talk to each other, Rosaris, you follow Gwen. Athera, you're like, I'm not gonna probably mess with this. Marcel's trying to egg you on. Rosaris, you follow Gwen. Gwen sort of hides off into the side, but again, like if you just walk 10 feet over towards the center of the field, you see her.
Like, did she go around a corner of a wall, basically?
Yeah, like this is a almost like football field style oval, and then at the end of each one and in the center of the top, there's like an entrance exit area where you can walk through.
Okay.
So she just
Yeah.
like hid underneath one of those, and you follow her there.
Cool. I'm just gonna lean up against the wall next to wherever she hid, and just have my hand on my sword.
Cool.
Lucian definitely followed too, and is just like looking around, like, oh, I guess this is not as good of a sight, but we'll make it happen. And he starts writing notes.
Gwen, you hear them follow you. Rosaris is not quiet.
I want to. No, let's try this out.
All right, roll stealth. You have disadvantage.
But am I close enough that I get the pass without trace? It doesn't matter. I rolled a nat 1 and I have a
Wow.
-1 to my multiplier.
If it helps, Lucian was not stealthing at all and probably making noise behind you, which is why you failed.
I'm going to
And
be
most likely
honest.
Leo wasn't.
Yeah,
was
Gwen, your
stealthy either.
passive perception is far higher than they rolled for stealth, so you know that they followed you. They were probably
Yeah.
like 15 or 20 feet back, but by the time that you sit there, you hear Rosaris' armor like clink against the wall, and you know through there.
What the hell's you guys doing?
I'm just here.
Supporting.
We thought you found something interesting.
We were worried about you
Why?
because we all love you.
Whoa.
Right, just in case you get in any trouble, we're here for you.
Marcel felt the love. He's like, I don't know who said it, but someone our team member said they loved each other. I'm so happy.
You seem very hard for that stuff.
Okay.
Why are we down here again?
Who are we going to take shots at?
Reasons. Someone?
All right.
Oh, unfortunately, I can't allow that.
Why not?
I think when you ask that, a just severe sense of anger flashes across Rosari's face, and you see both Kata and Beatrice's name light up on a shield.
Okay, come on. Relax.
As you guys are talking, Professor E. Trelval, this tall, like 6.5 foot tall, orange skin, dark green hair professor, she's out in front of the field talking to the two parties who were out there, and she's giving like the rules, and you guys hear her, the ones in the stand especially, you hear everything she's saying, but you guys just hear her like talking. She's going over like, all right, here's the rules. Obviously, if you knock someone down, don't kill them, but if you tag them while they're down, they're out. If they get healed before they get tags, they're back up. To make things a little bit easier for us, druids, you only can shift one time. If you tap yourself out, you are out of the fight permanently. And don't hold back. We got healers for a reason. So that's about it. Are we ready? And you guys hear the
Go,
other teams
Talon!
prepping to go.
Bunch of like dancing lights and other cool stuff like spinning around.
Yeah, Marcel is cheering up there. Gwen, will you give me a perception check, por favor?
Okay.
Okay.
He casts fairy fire on himself, so now
Nat
he's like
20?
a glowing disco ball.
Nat 20 is gonna do it. You see Rant who was down on the sideline, sort of like step up onto like the couple rows of, bleacher type seats that they have. And she starts looking around, looking for you guys. And you think it's only going to be a mere matter of moments before she finds the 3 or 4 of you there.
Okay, whatever. And Gwen just kind of like, she doesn't go back to where they were sitting, but she just kind of goes off on her own.
Yeah. As you're walking away, you see Delphina, like, from behind one of her team members, like, look at you and just go, yeah. And she, like, points to the other team, making motions of, shooting a bow, stabbing people. As she's doing,
kind of like shrug my shoulders at her at that point.
As she's doing all of that, Lysilda sort of walks up behind her and like slaps her on the shoulder and is like, "Hey, get your head in the game. We're starting." And they head to opposite ends of the field, the 2 parties. All right, from there, you guys are getting set up. Before I even narrate what they do, are you guys watching for enjoyment? You looking for anything? What's the game plan here?
Marcel will be scowling, but also cheering on Talon, so it's like very mixed messages.
She's so confused.
It's like he's a glowing disco ball, and he's like cheering, and then like in the next second, he goes.
Absolutely, you could flip a coin, and it's more consistent than Marcel's mood right now.
Lucian's definitely studying their battle formation and kind of their plan, and who might be the leader, who might be the most, what their strengths and weaknesses of, particularly if whoever team seems to win or is winning.
Sure, yeah. I'm gonna say, go ahead, give me an investigation check, and then we're gonna come back around to that.
Remember, Lucian, the winner is the one who wins.
Yeah, Gwen is out watching on her own, a little separate from the party. Anybody else? Anything you guys are doing or watching for?
I'm gonna casually disappear.
Kieran is gone, and at some point before the fight starts, Rant goes up to you guys as you're back approaching the group, and she's like, "Hey, where did Kieran go? I really wanted you guys all to like be present for this."
Could I have like noticed that he slipped away when he was doing it?
Yeah, we could always do a contested stealth versus perception roll.
Sure.
See if he can slip out at a time when you wouldn't have noticed.
Oh my! That landed on a 19, and it bloody rolled off the 19.
That's
was
hilarious.
an 8.
I got a 10.
I got
Oh
a 7, so that
my
means Marcel doesn't like. Oh man, Kieran left. I didn't notice.
Truly a session of
Just
low
go back
rolls
to
here.
dancing.
Kieran, you start to slip away, and then as you're about 3 or 4 steps out, Aethera, you like watch him as he's rounding the bleachers and heading out.
You'll notice I'm not leaving the field though. I'm just repositioning myself.
Okay. Cool. She'll like note that, but she's not gonna do anything about it.
I'll say that you didn't even head in the direction of the exit. You just went like somewhere else and then slipped away where the group couldn't see you. So yeah, Aethera notices that, kind of on the lookout. Rosari's, Leo, anything from you guys?
I probably am doing something similar to Lucian, just looking to see what based on the party mechanics, I know Beatrice is going to be a frontliner, but the other party I don't know much about.
Yeah, you can give me another insight check as well.
Insight or investigation?
Investigation, sorry.
I think Leo would be looking to see what kind of strategies they all use.
Sure. I let you either run investigation or insight.
I got a 19 on the investigation, by the way.
Finally, a decent roll.
Quinn did get a nat 20 like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I got a 17.
Now we're cooking. Okay, and Lucian, what'd you get on yours?
9.
All right, I'll give you guys some basic information and go into detail for Rosari's and Leo as we go through. But let's get this shit started. Etrelval finishes going over the rules. The people split to like the other sides of the field, obviously without a bunch of stuff on the field. They don't have to split up too far, but they separate and prepare for just like this little sparring match that they're about to do. And you have, Simon, Barry, Lysilda, Talon, Delphina, Balon, Leofric all on one side. Lysilda goes towards the front, Balon goes toward the front, and then Leofric's right beside them. The other ones all sort of taking a back seat. And then on the other side, you have Beatrice and Sivik sort of towards the front, like fist bumping. And then behind them are Kada, Cilia, Sivik, and Thatch. Or not Sivik, sorry. Sivik was in the front. It was Denny is also in the back. So with that, the fight starts. And as soon as Etrelval sort of yells out go, things just immediately erupt into chaos. First thing you notice, Beatrice charges the front, but sort of like takes a more defensive stance as she like approaches and then grabs her greatsword and holds it like in a defensive pose, waiting for people to come up. Thatch runs up right behind her. You guys watch as Beatrice spends her turn like casting a spell that supports herself, Thatch, and Sivik as they all sort of take this 3-man front. Cilia is invisible and gone. Don't know where she went. As they get to the front, Sivik sort of takes a couple steps around to the side as Beatrice is there, and I guess like almost flanks, like he steps off to the side enough where they either have to choose him or Beatrice. And then Kada and Denny stay about 20 or 30 feet behind both of them, spells at the ready. The other group starts to charge. Lysilda and Balon immediately run forwards towards Beatrice, and she was prepared and defensive, so they take some swings on her, not all of them quite hitting, but she is locked in combat with those two. Leofric turns into a giant wolf spider and sort of stays near them and starts to target like Sivik and Thatch and the other ones who are, helping support Beatrice. Talon and Simon stay back a little bit. They're like casting spells from range and, kind of at odds with Kada and Denny. And then you guys watch as Delphina tries to, in the midst of all the chaos, sneak around to get a hit in on Beatrice and flank around. As the combat starts, they all begin sort of like their first real set of moves. The first thing that happens is as Delphina is sneaking around, she immediately gets hit by a spell, and you don't even see who cast it, but you see Cilia drop invisibility. A powerful chromatic orb hits Cilia hits Delphina from the side, and she immediately gets like launched over and taken out, and then Cilia runs over and tags her. Balon, Lysilda, and Leofric are all sitting there at the front lines with Beatrice manning a fight against Balon and Lysilda, sort of locked in combat, fighting two people at the same time. Doesn't look like she's quite winning, but Thatch, over to the side, has constructed some sort of magical device that seems to be protecting her. He has it set up just sort of like floating behind her, and every couple of seconds it like sends out this little magical pulse that seems to guard Beatrice from some damage. And then Sivik is fighting a little bit with the spider form of Leofric, and then dodges off to the side and starts fighting with Balon and Lysilda. From there, Beatrice is standing firm. You guys see Kada cast a couple spells. She cast a healing word at Beatrice. She cast a Dissonant Whispers on who would be out there? Probably like Talon or Delphina. Delphina's already out. So Talon, she gets hit with the spell, cast Eldritch Blast back, and you guys watch as Kada gets hit. From there,
You shot Talon.
yeah, Talon like looks at you and she goes, "I got it." You guys watch as Denny walks forward and takes a spell from one finger, splits it into two, and like a little ball of lightning splits, and he casts it at both Lysilda and Balon, the lightning hitting their metal armor and sticking really hard and like locking them down, dealing some damage, which gives Beatrice the easy edge to like get Balon knocked out as she focuses on Lysilda. From there, Barry, staying in the back, sort of heals Balon up from the ground before Beatrice can tag him out. And from there, I got a message in the Discord. Is Kieran doing something?
I might be adding something to the battlefield. From stealth, I'm just gonna casually, stealthily sling a little bag of ball bearings in the center of the battlefield, just to see what would happen.
So I will let you know two things. One, line of sight in this place is wide open because it is an empty field and the bleachers are further back from the field a little bit. Not only that, but with the grass on the ground, it's going to be very difficult for you to get ball bearings to them without making your position pretty much immediately obvious.
Okay, I was imagining a different kind of field. That's all good then.
Yeah, my descriptions could be a little bit more vivid. I like to have pictures to help describe this sort of thing. But imagine like a football field and they're in the center taking up not a ton of space. So there's like a lot of area on all their sides.
That's all good then.
From there, the battle continues. It goes for, 30 or 45 seconds as this bout goes on. You guys watch as Talon gets a little bit closer, focusing on Beatrice as she gets a huge spell ready as fire engulfs her hands. But as soon as she casts it, you guys see a little bolt of like this light blue light shoot out and knock the spell out of her hands as she gets counterspelled by Cilia. Beatrice fighting Balon and Lysilda at the same time, who are taking damage but still up, almost gets knocked down, like she gets knocked to one knee by Balon, who gets her with like a very almost like very pointed attack with his spear, knocking her in between some of her armor bits, until Sivik sneaks up behind him and basically holds a dagger to him and pulls him to the ground and taps him, knocking him out. From that point, Beatrice and Lysilda are locked in a fight, but now that she is outnumbered, her and Sivik sort of tag team and knock her out fairly quickly. Leofric goes down after being targeted. After they get knocked out, Denny launches a couple spells at him. Kata hits him with the spell. Leofric gets knocked out of his wild shape and then just taps himself out and slowly backs up. Simon and Barry are confronted by Thatch and Kata, who then sort of run up and start hitting some spells, hurling these like waves of psychic energy and little bouts of fire. Thatch gets hurt in the means, and a little stray bolts of fire hits him in the face and he falls to the ground. But then Kata runs forward, covers Thatch, and like casts a spell and takes down Simon after that. After that, the only one really left up from the other team is Barry, who Kata like hesitates and doesn't attack, but then a stray chromatic orb hits her in the shoulder and she gets knocked to the ground by Cilia, who then sort of like walks forward and sorry. And then after that, everybody else, Leofric's walking off. The only people up at this point are Cilia. Kata is bleeding from a couple places but standing, and Beatrice immediately like falls to one knee, crumples to the ground, and just goes, yes, as their group wins. So you guys watch as the rest of them get swarmed by clerics, getting healed and stuff like that. But then, very quickly, Kata, Beatrice, Cilia, Sivik, Denny, and Thatch all like gather up and start hugging each other and jumping up and chanting, just like, oh my god, we did it! We did it! Oh my god, it was incredible! You guys hear Beatrice just yell out, that's right, we don't need 7 people, we got 6, and we're strong just like that. And she kind of like very subtly holds up a middle finger towards y'all's group, and then smiles, waves at y'all. All right, let's tackle some of these rolls you guys made. Lucian, you rolled pretty low. You would easily pick up on the fact that Beatrice is she's their secret weapon. A lot of support went into Beatrice. She was the only person who frontlined. Everybody else was like casting spells from a distance. You take out Beatrice, the bridge collapses. That's probably all you get on a lower roll like that. Rosaris and Leo, you pick up on a couple things. First of all, Cilia is like, you guys are picking up that Beatrice is their martial secret weapon. She is holding the front line alone against 2, maybe 3 people, supported by others, obviously, but like she's holding the line like that. watching Cilia turn invisible and cast counterspell is something you know that other groups shouldn't be able to do. So clearly there's a little bit of like extra talent in that department. But in the same way, Denny seems very timid and scared to confront people. You feel like you could get him to tap out pretty easily. Thatch looks like a good support, but a weak link. You take him out, and it seems like Beatrice won't be as strong. Sivik is sneaky, and it's hard to pin down exactly what he does, but he fights up close, he casts spells. There's a lot going on there. But the main things to pick up on are Kata is good support, Beatrice is their frontliner, Cilia is hitting people with massive damage from spells, and Denny and Thatch are both sort of like easier to take out at the start. You guys both independently pick up on all of that. Leo, you get a little bit of extra information because you rolled insight. The other group, as upset as some of them are, Delphina is not taking it well. Simon is kind of like, oh, well, I kind of expected this. Barry is, after being healed, fine. Like, she walks up and sort of like hugs Kata. Lucilda is a little upset. She's like, yeah, good match, good game, everybody. But she is like, she really wanted to win. Balon is the same. Leofric is like, I'm never getting into a fight again. I'm done. But with that, you guys are all, relatively close by, kind of spread out across the field. But each Relval sort of calls out, that's our winner. There we go. That's what I love to see. Great job, guys. She starts like high-fiving people, smacking some people on the shoulders. And then Rance sort of slides into a seat beside you guys, and she says,
Hey, Rance.
oh my god. Anyway, you guys ready for tomorrow? That's your... She points to the group who won. She says, that's going to be your opponents right there. Feeling prepared, nervous, excited?
Feel both excited and prepared.
Great. Cool.
Because we're going to win because we have friendship, right, guys?
Yes, my son.
Among other
You say
things.
that Gwen's not sitting by you guys.
Gwen is like
Neither Kira,
all
I
the way
believe.
down at the other end of the bleachers, like trying to
I believe
listen
Kira and
in.
Gwen are both gone, so it's like, yeah, friendship.
Yeah, it is literally
all,
the
like-
5 of you.
Yeah, for everyone that is still within the group, I think Shorty knows what this is probably going to be about. If y'all want to roll an insight check against Rosaries, I'm down for it.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Doing that.
Do I know
I'll
what this
roll
is
a-
about?
12.
You know what? I don't like what I rolled anymore.
16.
I'm going to say I have disadvantage because it's more fun that way.
Roll another net, roll a 20,
That's
net 20 down.
yeah.
Nope, I got a 7 that time. We're good.
I didn't
Um,
want a nat 20. I wanted a nat 1.
That would be the time. For everyone who beat a 7, which not very hard. When Marcel says like, or what did you say specifically, Marcel? Like, we're ready. We got this.
Yeah, we're both prepared, and I'm both excited and prepared.
As soon as you say that, you see Rosaries look down at his shield, and the light from Beatrice and Kita's name is still up, but it's now like flickering. And you can see like there's an obvious inner conflict between like my oath versus what he's about to have to do.
Marcel looks at Rosaris. Oh, is there a conflict of interest?
Heck, I know theoretically that we're not fighting to kill each other, but it's counterintuitive for me.
Who can you not hurt?
Specifically, Kata and Beatrice, which I spar with Beatrice all the time, so it should be fine. It's
yeah,
just
well, it's just a sparring.
now
match.
that I've taken my oath, it's different.
Oh.
Shouldn't be anything I can't handle though.
If you need it, I could take on Beatrice.
Larry, you might want to guess.
Professor Rance sort of like interjects right here, and she says, yeah, you guys, you'll have plenty of time for, strategy and things like that. I did want to let you know that whenever I found Etrelval, she said that a gift had been left for you guys in the West Cast building where we get our mail and stuff. So if you guys want to gather your party, I think she told me, I don't want to spoil it, but the person who sent it was very excited. So if you guys want to gather the troops and head over there, I think that could be good.
I'm trying to get what I ordered. Come on, guys.
Kieran.
I'm right here, guys. What are you talking
Kieran.
about?
Walks out from behind the
never left.
bleachers.
Just there you are.
I'm not a dog. You know, I can just go off on my own if I need to.
I could make a comment, but I'm gonna not.
Let's not. He's like, Kieran, no, just move on.
Gwen, sorry about being rude earlier, but we have a gift.
Okay. She just kind of gets up and heads to the party.
Yeah, you guys gather up, and the West Cast building is literally like a 30-second walk from the practice field. You guys head over there, and as soon as you guys walk in, the little office is open, and you guys see in one of your like mailboxes a very large box is sort of like halfway stuffed in there, and then they just, whoever put it in there just kind of gave up. It's like sticking out almost a foot.
It must be my 50 silk shirts that I ordered. Okay, Marcel takes out the box.
Yeah, you take out the box. You immediately like rip it open, and as soon as you open it, this like red bird, it like flutters and flies and like finds the nearest window or door and just exits as fast as it can.
Guys, I swear I didn't order a bird.
Who would put the bird in a box?
Marcel, you look down, and there is a letter on top of just like a pile of various things in the box. Do you want to go ahead and start reading the letter out to everybody?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go ahead and read it for you because there are pauses at certain points. But the letter reads, "Hello, my new friends. After our last meeting, I requested a few items be sent here from Hazelcrest for my new allies. First, for Robert. Any good paladin needs a cape. I present to you a custom Ralpheo Lorino velvet cape. May it pick up every breeze and keep you looking as magnificent as I do. And Rosaris, you reach down in and you find this beautiful, long, flowing, purple velvet cape with like a gold trim along the outside. And along the back of it, towards the bottom, is a very rough embroidering that says Res space R space Ease."
Marcel's trying to read it. I think it says Gwen.
Can you roll me a perception or investigation? Either one.
Wait, so that's mine.
Are you talking to me, Marcel, or Gwen?
Rosaris, can you roll the check?
Okay.
Marcel
Yeah.
said that he thinks that spells Gwen. Obviously,
You
he
said
can't read.
You said investigation?
Or perception, yes.
How
You have to investigate this like it's magnifying glass.
13 on investigation.
Cool. You're feeling the fabric of it, and then you feel something on the back, and you flip it around, and on the bottom of the cape, in a much nicer embroidered letter, it says Sir John Luke III II under the inside of the cape. Continuing the letter, Marcel keeps reading on, ignoring that, and it says, "For my friend
That's not my
Jen, a romper made from the finest pearled sequins that seem to change color with the light. May your arrows seem to shoot a bit straighter with the confidence that this gives you." And Gwen, you reach in and you see a beautiful, shining sequin romper with this like pearlescent white decorations all over it and sort of like an off-white fabric underneath. Very ostentatious, very bright, very out there.
Hells yes. That's exactly what I wanted.
The letter continues. Marcel keeps reading out and he says, "To Marcy, a deed to a house near my castle in Hazelcrest. May you join me in training during breaks and enjoy our small city and its many amenities. I convinced father to put in a petting zoo a few years back. The squirrels are quite interesting. And you pull out a sheet of paper that's like coiled up and it has a wax seal on it. Even if you open it, it's literally just a decree of ownership of a house.
Oh, nice. Another one.
You got a whole ass house?
Yeah, Gwen, I feel slightly slighted here.
The next one. It says, to Kyle, here are a variety of hair products. May your hair have as healthy a sheen as my heath. And you'll pull out a bag that has a variety, Kieran, of different hair care products and like skincare things and very Vogue-esque, almost like makeup and hair products. The next one reads, my friend Leonard, it seems as if you have been having lady issues based on the word around school in our training session. So I give you this book to read. I personally have no need for it, as there's no one quite as majestic as myself
50 Shades of Grey.
that I would desire to be any more than friends with. Leo, you pick up a book out of the box, and on the front title it says, Does She Like You? A Guide to Women for Dummies. And the picture on the front is of Sir John Luke's face. And then the
That's
last
very
thing...
educational.
Yeah, very educational. It's great. And the last thing that it says is, and last but not least, Arthur. I noticed your love for nature, so I thought I would get you something special. A red cardinal from the forest near Hazelcrest. I spent 4 hours chasing it, so please don't let it escape. But alas, if it does, I shall chase it again if you wish.
I'm gonna like look out the window and go, oh my gosh.
The end of the letter reads, Alas, my friends, if you ever need help, again, I would love to play blitzball on the center island, but I'm always happy to help with any tasks my humble, talented self can help with. Sincerely, your new best friend, Prince John Luke III II. There are 2 more things in the box. One of them is a little bundle of bracelets that say WWJD, and another little letter. And it says, To Lucy. I heard you joined the group after our training session, so I had to quickly get you a gift. My first thought was I drew you what the training session looked like, and it is great. Also, I attached some bracelets in here, so if you're ever in need of inspiration, just think, what would John do?
What would John do? Lucian, he calls you Lucy, and he calls me Marcy. We are friends.
With that, I do want to go ahead and add the visual representation for what this drawing looks like, because it is absolutely hilarious. Let me move you guys to...
Please tell me Zachy actually drew.
He actually drew it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, it keeps opening instead of moving. Alright, let me get you guys in here.
I'm sorry about your bird, Athera.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure I can find it.
To give a physical description of this, it looks like it was drawn by a 4-year-old in crayon. But it says friends across the top. And then it says John with long, beautiful hair, a sword and a shield, and like a red dress. Kevin.
It's a cape.
Kevin looks very sad, but he has like the curly, wavy red hair up top. There's Jen with the blue skin and a dragon. Or
Am I saying rar?
Yep. There is Resari.
You did say raw.
It says helmet as it points to Rosari's frowning with a sword and a shield and a little hat. Arthur, who's just standing there smiling, and Leonard, girls like me, boo-hoo, as a sad green-skinned stick figure.
So true. He's so true.
And at the bottom
Yeah,
of it, it says, For Lucy.
Thanks for including my tail, Zachy.
This is a very accurate description. I really am going to keep this.
But yeah,
I'm so upset.
I know, like, 3 of you look so astoundingly sad.
I don't know if I look sad. Oh wait, never mind. That connected to my jaw. I thought it was like a open mouth grin. Nope, that is just a frowny face into my chin.
God.
Yep.
Where's my other eye?
It's there. It's just really small.
Can someone
You're
send this?
Did he
squinting.
poke it out when he smited me?
Apparently.
Possibly.
Yeah.
He spelled friends right at least.
It's
Yeah.
a miracle.
Because we know that we're all friends to the very end. Right?
Athera's gonna go ahead and cast Locate Animals, and she's gonna track that bird down.
For sure. Over the next 30 or so minutes after you guys split up, you cast that and you track this bird down, and it's kind of like just sitting on a tree in campus on the center island, watching a couple of people in the center island play blitzball.
I'm going to cast Speak with Animals, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, I see you probably just had a very traumatic experience.
The bird immediately, like as soon as you cast a spell, you hear, and then you speak to it, and it just goes, "Oh my god, I've been in a box for 2 days. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. I gotta. Where the hell am I? You speak to me? Where am I?
You're pretty far from home, I think.
That
I
doesn't
don't
answer my
know.
question. Where am I?
Do you know of a school called Loomis?
No.
I was waiting for him to say, I'm a bird! How do I know what these words mean?
Look, if you need some, you can. I have a nice room, and I have some food that I can give you. If you just come and stay with me for a little bit, you can rest, and then you can figure out how to deal with your problem.
Go ahead and give me an animal handling check.
Oh boy. Ooh. 24.
Damn, yeah. The bird kind of... Food? Food sounds nice. I like food. I need food. I'm really hungry.
But what do you prefer?
I don't care. Just anything.
Okay, that's not helpful.
You're not
She'll-
helpful. I'm kidding. Yes, you are. Thank you.
Wow. She's gonna like put her arm out, like, come land on my arm.
The bird kind of hops and flutters down and lands on your arm and stands up on your shoulder. And you still hear it like out of breath, just like, it was so dark. It was so scary.
Do you have a name?
No? Most people just point at me and say, red bird.
Well,
And then that freaky blonde guy started screaming at me, and then I ran from him, and then he caught me.
yeah, he's freaky. I'm sorry about that. Why don't? Well, you can think about it when you're staying with me. If you think of a name, I could give you some options.
Cool. I like
Red Bird
Jeremy.
isn't bad.
That's a good name.
That could suit. I like that.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you. Okay, let's go get this food. And you guys
Okay.
head off to your room. Everybody else, before we wrap up and leave, what are you guys doing with your gifts?
I just take it into this room.
Hang it up on the wall next to all the others.
I'm gonna go
Yep,
grab
like,
one of
just
the
like-
old poetry books.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna grab one of the old poetry books I was reading and look at one of the descriptions of the person I was kind of like who wrote it, and I'm gonna style my mustache after his.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Maybe do a bit of a comb back, get all fancy for the fight.
Oh yeah. We're not gonna see it yet, but you best believe me, next session when this fight starts, Kieran's gonna be looking suave.
Let's go. Get it all mixed up.
Beautiful. Well, from there, the rest of the night sort of goes on however you guys would please. Maybe you guys meet up and you talk, you strategize, but the next morning comes. The energy around campus is electric. It's excited. All the upperclassmen are talking and running around sort of early in the morning. And the word is spread pretty fast. A lot of people know that it's you guys versus this other group, and the bets are kind of split down the middle. But as you guys prep for the fight and get ready the following day, that's where we're going to end our session.
Nice.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next time as we get to the finale of the first arc. We'll finish out this big closure to party games, have this party-on-party combat, and then we'll see how our heroes do. Maybe they'll come out on top. Maybe they're going to lose to this other talented group. But either way, this is going to be one of the last things that's super big this semester. So make sure you don't miss it. All right.
Love you all.
Any last notes before we close out, y'all?
Well,
saving her
Marcel would talk to
romper for
Rosarius
Blitzball.
and say, sorry, continue.
I was just saying Gwen saving her romper for Blitzball.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Marcel would tell Rosarius, don't worry, you can come to my summer house anytime.
That's not a bad offer. I might take you up on that.
Word. All right. Well, yeah, to the couple of us watching, appreciate you. We'll see you next time as we come back to Loomis for the 13th session, the finale of the first arc, and then we'll be on a little bit of a break after that. So, we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.